Started. Excellent connection.
Get right. All that sweet, sweet internet. Oi.
Oi.
I need stream to go up there. Like that. Turn that off. Share.
That's up. 8 o'clock. Well, there's 3 people. Now there's 2 people.
Here we go. I think that's. Okay. Hoping everything is all set for audio levels. I'm pretty sure everything should be fine because I didn't tweak anything since last week. I'm extra fancy side with my button-down shirt. I didn't bother changing after I got to work. Ah!
Yeah, I didn't either. I just went home, threw a sweatshirt on.
Hey Jack. Hey Chris. What? Oh, that's for you.
What's happened? Oh.
It's still broken.
Still broken.
In case there was any.
I got like 3 more weeks with it, I think.
Turn this.
I don't remember the date. I gotta go back.
Whole thing. No, I was moving that one.
Oh.
It's good. ZO2, hey buddy. Fishing mode.
Good morning.
Hello, friend. Co2. We'll be getting into it in a few minutes. You know the drill. Wait about 5 minutes for this chat to get going. Just shoot the breeze about anything and everything in the meantime. Look at it. Zoe, getting right into it. Zoe, we usually, I mean, this to answer your question. But we usually, when we start the streams, we give it about 5 minutes, and the chat kind of like, you know, a lot of people get in, people kind of trickle in for the first 5 minutes, and then we get rolling. But how do you use a bass jig? Be a little more specific. I don't. I'm not saying that in a condescending way whatsoever. I live by the jig. So, do you want like largemouth, smallmouth? Like you're talking just a traditional skirted jig, all that?
Well, that was quick.
Hey,
Thank you.
Bob, how's it going? John, Paul, Ben, and Fish and Bone. Thank you very much, sir. Hey, actually, before so ZO2, don't forget that question that I just asked you to elaborate on that. Hey Sam, Dong Swampy, Gary, how you been, buddy? I saw your comment about the river, by the way. I'm tempted to come up there this weekend, but we'll see how it goes. Where we go in the winter?
Yes.
It's been doing pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah, fishing mode. That was very helpful. Thank you. We'll talk about that a little bit. We'll wait for more people to get in here, and we'll talk about where we stand with all the donations for the streams and where we're currently at for that next goal, because we're getting like pretty close, and things have been going great. So I want to be able to say thank you to everybody to getting us where we've been so far.
Yeah, seriously.
2 tournaments in that whole section. One section, lower section. Still, maybe I'll swing it local still.
I would.
Probably. Well, I was either going to go local or I was going to go to northern end of Champlain, so 30 minutes? 3 hours?
I'd stay local.
Yeah, I'm thinking...
I go to the place with the bridge.
That's literally what I was thinking. Already, because John's going to come with me. We was originally looking at fishing a tournament on Winnipesaukee with Travis Rocket. He went pre-fishing yesterday and he got skunked. So, needless to say, we're not doing that tournament this weekend. So I can't get up there to pre-fish to help him out between now and then, so...
Just go catch a giant.
That's what I'm hoping for. Gordy, welcome, sir. Rich.
Ahoy, sir.
Oh, yeah, see, I forgot that the draft is going on. By all means, keep me posting on that if you feel interested.
Football sucks.
Shut up.
Fishing's better.
I mean, yeah, you're right, but... I like your button up. It makes me unbutton my pants. I don't know. Makes me feel good. The button up, not you unbuttoning your pants. Oh, how to fish largemouth with a football jig?
And the rocks.
Right now, yeah. Actually, pretty much any time of the year. Although at a certain point, the rocks don't become that productive. But early in the year, like actually right up through post spawn, until you get in like that kind of like summer mode, Like, you really just can't go wrong with fishing a football jig in and around the rocks. Any timber you can find, you know, any structure. Just kind of be aware of where they're hanging out and like what different depths. Sometimes you just need to find like something. Could be a patch of lily pads, not even like emergent lily pads, like all the dead stalks and stuff laying down. Like that could be good enough. Although working a jig in there is kind of a nightmare. But working around the edges of it, you know, drop it off the face of it, that can be good. Kayak tournament in the Cape Saturday, gonna be fun. Ooh, Kotu, what's the
Ooh, that's gonna be rough.
Yeah, what are you looking at for wind forecast down there? That's gonna be wicked rough.
Yeah, we got blown off in his boat, so.
Yeah, it was brutal. Hey, Alex, I see you, buddy. Yeah, we're oh wait, 37 Smallies Tuesday afternoon from Hinsdale North. Post.
Working
Nice.
from home.
You're working all right. Yeah, actually, we're getting a pretty good amount of rain, which is good. We need it bad. We were where we are, like Nashua area, and like kind of immediately east and west and north and south of that. Like that, the greater Nashua area was in extreme levels of drought last year, like kind of going late in the season, and then
bad.
it came back to severe.
Well, I went down to that pond yesterday down in Nashua, or
Is it
2
still
days
low?
ago. No, it's right back up where it should be.
Good. So we were concerned because like it got bad last year.
Yeah, it's a little low, but it's not.
Not as bad as
It's
it
coming
was.
right back up.
Okay. There's a couple places I've been to where water is actually a little high, but they have a small dam there, so it's been a little different. But it's still, even a couple other places that were still a little low. So things are sounding good. I actually talked to a guy that runs the New Hampshire Slay Nation trails. Mike, his brother, I think he said, lives up on Champlain. Champlain was low last year, but apparently now it's back at the full pool. So like, things are looking good. We need that rain, man.
Yeah, we definitely do. And it's warm rain too, so it should help.
Yep.
You should be catching the fish in the rain if you want to get wet or don't mind.
I'm going to be looking at my phone constantly as we're doing this tonight because I'm desperately trying to get into another online tournament for the weekend, so don't mind me. But it's 8:07, so I think it's time to roll. Alright, so tonight we're answering your questions. We do a lot of talking. We're still going to do a lot of talking, but we're going to let you talk a lot this time too. One of the other things I want to talk about that we made the video for last night, I need to finish editing it, is we're going to actually start offering membership options for the channel. It's something that I've been able to do for over a year now with YouTube, but I haven't done. they
Yep.
just post weird shit on there.
Sorry.
You made me close it. Don't make me do this. So the idea behind the membership thing is, if anybody's familiar with Patreon or Twitch, when you can subscribe to people, it's going to be along those same levels. Kind of like a hybrid between the two systems, and we're going to be able to give a lot of stuff back. So I'm going to announce that next week. I have to finish up the video before I can do that though, because that's the way YouTube makes you do it. So we'll see how it goes. Talking about donations and the next goal for this, we kept talking about a new digital camera. Toying around the idea of a couple different ones. I'm going back to the original camera that I had spec'd out with the help of friends. We're looking at a Sony a6400. It's a wicked nice camera. It's going to allow us to do 4K for the streams. It'll be super sexy. Take it out in the boat, take some obviously good photos and good videos.
Mm-hmm.
And as of last night, actually as of with this donation tonight, YouTube takes a huge cut of those donations, which kind of sucks. But we're now $610 that we've made in the stream so far in donations. But 220 of that was from what I made from the apparel sales, which, all things considered, not bad.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're getting close, and I seriously, we can't thank you guys enough for just continuing to support what we're doing and helping us kind of achieve that next goal for the stream. And it's going to be good once we get that new camera.
Yeah, it's going to be real good.
It is going to be nice. I can't wait to get it out in the boat, too, but more than anything, it's going to be nice to have it for the stream. Hey, Kristen. For 4 times. Did you really, Gary, did a conference call in Spotlock? Fantastic.
It's my boy.
Hey, David. Tell you here, oh, nice. Hey, happy 90th to your Padre.
Jeez.
Yeah. All right, let's get going. So, I guess before we officially start, if you haven't liked the stream yet, please do so. If you want to go the extra mile and share it, we greatly appreciate it. Tonight is your night. We want to hear all of your questions. We already answered one while waiting for this to kind of kick off. How we fish a football jig for largemouth. So, I want to hear it. Go ahead, take over. I got a message I got to respond
Who, me?
to. Yeah.
Them.
You know what we're
For
doing
a football jig,
Yeah, expand on that, and then in the meantime, chat.
How would I fish it for largemouth? I would throw it up on any rock or any hard structure and drag the bottom, because that football will drag up and over rocks. It won't, has less tendency to get stuck in the rocks. So don't be afraid to throw it literally into the rocks. That's what I would do.
Damn right.
Oh yeah, and that's caught a lot of big fish. So that's like all I fish is that football jig with in rocks. That's pretty much what I use it for. Give it a second, Sean.
Oh, I want to elaborate on that. Yeah, I saw it. Garrett, we don't discuss where we fish. Sorry, buddy. We've kind of gotten to a point where if we're not careful, we can very easily blow up a place. So we just don't talk about where we fish. Unless it's a really big place like Winnie. Obviously don't care. Squam, Champlain, Candlewood, like, you know, it's whatever. Those are giant places that get 1,000 friggin' anglers every weekend. So we just don't talk about it. Simple as that.
What's a tiny child rig?
I am also curious about that as well. Check it. Fishing mode, I got your message. Hang on.
I gotta look that up. Are you looking it up?
Look up what? No, you look it up.
Tiny child rig?
Smallmouth. What's up, buddy? I kind of a rough one today, eh?
Tiny.
Eric, fishing mode, dude. Thank you, dude. He threw us another $20.
What?
It's $25 from him tonight. Dude,
oh yeah.
Thank you. You're
Thanks,
the man.
dude.
Greatly appreciate it. I should actually give that as an option to people. Should put it in the video descriptions. Just PayPal and/or Venmo if they want to just donate to that directly instead of going through YouTube's thing.
Sure.
There's an idea. Hey Chris, how you doing, buddy? Ooh, I should.
The first
bring
thing
that
that
thing
came
down.
The first thing that came.
Oh, don't even tell me it's that. Is it really that? Is it a wish thing?
No, it's not.
Okay.
This is just. I gotta show you guys. This is funny.
Yeah, Garrett, thank you. Those are your favorite lures.
So this is the first when I looked that up. This is the first thing that came up.
When you said tiny child rig.
Tiny child rig, just little mini penises.
Fantastic.
Some peneyes.
John, I got your message. Thank you, buddy. Keeping on that. Oh no, too many clicks. Yeah, John, that's John Mango. That's exactly it. Like, a lot of those small ponds they can be special, right? We don't want to blow those up by any means. You know, especially if it's somebody's honey hole that they've been fishing like literally all their lives. You know, it could be some like 50-year-old dude that's been fishing there since he was in diapers. Like, I would hate to be responsible for accidentally blowing a place up by not being careful about what we do. So we just don't talk about it. I don't want to be that guy. More than anything, though, I've also personally witnessed the destruction of a half dozen different ponds that I used to love going to for big fish.
Mm-hmm.
I've been told it's from ice fishermen. I can't say that that's actually true or not because I haven't seen it with my own eyes. But the person that has told me this, the people that have told me this, I believe them. Typically, it's only ice guys that keep big fish because you keep them in the middle of winter when they're cleanest and it's good food for them. You know, that's everybody's right. It just sucks because people don't realize like how old those fish are. So that's what it's all about. We're trying to protect the quality places. I get a few places that I'll talk about all day long because they suck. You know, you'd be lucky if you catch something bigger than a 2-pounder because they've already been destroyed.
I mean, yeah, that 7.5 was like 15 years old.
Probably older than that.
If not longer.
Yeah.
I mean, older.
All right, Jack. First turnaround squam this weekend. Yeah, I didn't see what the wind forecast is supposed to be yet. I was looking for Sunday. I didn't see what it's gonna be like on Saturday yet. Yeah, Eric, I hear you. Joe, I would like to hit that lake at some point. I'll get up there eventually. I saw that Grat. Pete Weeks killed it again. That guy needs to stop fishing that lake. Dude, he's so good.
Yeah, he's really good.
Oh, dude, Brian, thank you. We got another donation from Brian.
What the fuck?
No, dude.
We're gonna have this camera by like tomorrow.
Right? The rate we're going. I should throw those links in there, but I can't do it. We're doing the stream. So, again, this stream's supposed to be for you guys tonight. So go ahead and start throwing us questions on anything you want to learn. Like, what is your goal for this year? Is it technique specific? Is it a specific bait? Are you trying to get better at fishing different bodies of water? Like, have you always been a kettle pond guy and you want to explore the bigger bodies of water or rivers? Although I can't answer too much to rivers because I don't even fish them myself that much. And thank you, Garrett. Smallies in the glide on Tuesday, lost a giant. Ooh, no!
Ugh.
Chris, wait, was that... When did you and I meet up? We met up Monday? I already forget. What day did we meet up that I got you the rod? Was that after we met up? That's rough, dude.
That sucks.
I think we met Monday. My week has been a blur. This new job has been great, but dude, I am busy. But it's a good thing. Like, I would rather be busier with no time for anything else than have time to fart around my phone, because that's when it would start becoming miserable. I'm a much happier guy when I'm buried with work. Let's see. 18 miles an hour for the winds. Yeah, that'll be rough.
Ooh.
A little rough, especially if it's running, lengthwise on that. I've been out in that lake in pretty rough winds. Although, Squam's better than all the big lakes because there's so many islands. At least, even though it's not always where you want to be, at least if you want to take a friggin' half an hour break and just go get in some protected shoreline, you can. Unlike, Winnie you can too, but Winnie gets real ugly. You know how that is. So if you gotta cross back over, it sucks.
Kayak too?
Ugh.
No thanks.
Kristen's first tournament on Winnie was like 35 mile an hour winds out of the northwest.
Nope.
And yeah, she had she actually got towed back in because she was dead by the end of it. She couldn't even row anymore. That's brutal.
Ugh.
John, ponds, lakes, 200 acres or less can't really get wrecked by fishing pressure for sure. Yep, you're absolutely right. I think you meant can, not can't.
Can?
All right, here we go. Jasper, there any factors you look for in a good fishing spot, like a certain type of structure? You can start with that one.
Yes.
My phone's blowing up.
Look for a good fishing spot, like certain. Yeah. Depending on the spot. If you got like a rocky spot or like a point or like a little cove that has a bunch of trees down in it, just pretty much when I show up and I start physically looking around the pond to see what there is, I usually go and hit those spots first. Like a tree down or any big rocks or rock pile you can see from Google Maps or whatever. And then I go with the electronics to start trying to find stuff out deeper. And like really anything out in the middle. Could be even just a hump or it could be just a patch of grass out in the middle of nowhere.
Yep. For me, it depends on the time of the year where I'm going. There's certain things I like to do more than anything, like drop shot and jigs are my favorite things to do. So depending on the time of the year, if it's like midsummer and I want to go find a good smallmouth lake, or I want to go do some drop shot, and then screw it, I'm gonna look for a good smallmouth lake and I want to go drop shot and video game fish and see if I can't find a tank out in the middle of 40 to 50 feet of water.
Yeah, it's always fun.
It really is. And it's a challenge too when you start looking that deep. But man, it's rewarding when you all of a sudden you get a giant boomerang come in at the bottom of 50 feet and you drop down on them and you pluck them.
Yeah, it's always fun.
But you gotta be ready and you gotta make sure you have the right thing going too. If it's smaller places, I'll go on Google Maps. We did a whole live stream on this if you missed it, where we broke down exactly how we go about looking at new places.
We did do that.
What?
We did do that.
Yeah, and I'll look for okay, I know I want to do some frog fishing. I'll look and see using Google Earth to see okay, what's the vegetation look like at various times of the year? Is it pretty, significant when I want to be there, say in the middle of August, or is there just no vegetation of value? And just go from there, and then look at depth maps, see, okay, yeah, no, it's actually got a good 2 foot flat all the way over here. So that's how I go about it. Donk Swampy, where do you locate the biggest bass in the average sized kettle pond? I'll go first. Literally anywhere.
Yeah.
Dude, it varies from year to year. We learned a thing last year that unfortunately I'm not willing to share.
Yeah.
I kind of stumbled upon it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we perfected it. And the water temp's almost there. So there's windows where all of a sudden a magic combination kind of happens. I will say when you're talking earlier in the year and still pre-spawn, so water temps mid 50s, working around spawn flats, finding vegetation like hard cover and stuff, hard windblown shorelines, working where the shoreline is getting pounded out, even into like 10 feet of water. You know, work that whole transition from like pre-spawn kind of like deeper water all the way up to the friggin' shoreline, because they're going to be anywhere in between. But it's tough, man, trying to single out these bigger fish.
On smaller ponds, I usually work the windblown shoreline. That's the shoreline that is usually getting windblown.
I got in.
Nice.
Dude, he posted 1 minute ago. I got in.
Nice.
Yes. Sorry, I got in on online tournament. I was ready.
Like on every little pond, like if it's windy, just go right to that shoreline. If it's not, usually try and start on that shoreline or close to it.
Okay, before we do anything else, sorry, John. Really late on the uptake on this. John donated another $50. Direct to Venmo. John, thank you so much, man.
John Emery.
Oh my God, I don't even know how much we've already got up to now, but we're getting close.
John, you've donated so much money.
Yeah. John, you're a champ. Thank you, man.
And more than just money too. Like, you've helped us out so much.
With everything.
Yeah,
so many
literally
things.
Everything.
I'm hoping. Hang on. Most recent.
Sorry. Intermission.
I want to make sure that I got in. I'm pretty sure I did. Oh yeah, dude, I'm in. I got in on that all day long.
Now you gotta take 3 days to go fishing.
Top 50 spots. Oh, I was like the 14th guy in. It's fine. I just gotta make sure I pay that in a few minutes here. All right. Sorry, Gary. We're like way behind in the chat now. Gary, the cursed fisherman. How can you teach your non-boater to be a better and quicker net man? You chastise him.
Yeah, kick him off the
hard.
boat.
You make him feel like a very small person. No, don't put your feet.
I kind of just like picked it up and just got really good at it.
Yeah, you did. Like, and I've been fortunate. Like, pretty much everybody I fished with has been really good about learning the net. And I've always been really good with the net, but I still think everybody has lost at least one fish from a bad net, just from a bad set of circumstances.
One big fish from a bad. Ugh.
That's the quickest lesson.
Yep.
Losing a fish to somebody, and you know, whether it's, you know, like a genuinely, wow, you did something really stupid, versus that there was nothing you could do about it, just timing and position, everything. She came unbuttoned and swam away. It's just gonna take that one lost fish before it's gonna really hammer home the point.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, I actually have not, but at the same time, I don't talk ponds, so I'll just keep reiterating that point. I don't want people to actually call out anything other than like giant lakes that are like extremely well known. All the little piddly stuff, let's leave off the radar. For at least calling out specific names.
Yeah.
You want to give us like, okay, I know of a 250-acre kettle pond, or a river, or a 500-acre kind of glacial lake thing. Like, yeah, let's do that. Fishing mode. Yeah, dude, I gotta get you out there with me this year so we can do some deep water fishing together.
Deep water? Oh, yeah, dude, deep water's fun. 50, 60 feet, you lift your rod up and it's just heavy.
Evan, does New Hampshire have a lot of invasive species of grass, and how do they manage that? Mass uses chemical weed kills and really screw up the fishing. You can start with that. You know.
They have been doing a lot of weird stuff with the milfoil here. They go around, even some pond, there's a couple ponds around here they do it. They go around where where there's not a lot of milfoil, but where there is, they mark off with like a piece of a float, like a pool noodle, and they write milfoil on it, or whatever species of grass or whatever it is, invasive species, they'll write whatever it is, and they mark it, and they come around with this like pontoon boat, and they freaking with like a pump, and they suck it right up and get rid of it all.
That would be the best way to do it. That's the most efficient and safest way to do that.
There's been two or three ponds that I've seen so far that they've done it at, and it seems to be working well. But some ponds I kind of like there to be milfoil in. Like,
yeah, otherwise it's barren.
Yeah, there's nothing else is going on. You know what? Oh, sorry. I was gonna scroll.
I'm paying for online tournament.
I know. Grass comes on the lakes. I'm still trying to figure out what to throw on Swam this weekend. I'm lost and haven't fished the lake before. Ugh. I've heard Squam's been tough.
Very.
Super tough. This weekend, he probably doesn't have time to pre-fish either. I just worked, I don't even know, 20, 30 feet probably. Drop shot, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't really fished. I haven't fished that lake in 3 years, 4 years. Sorry, dude. Yeah. Like Hammer Time says, definitely deep rocks. I tried throwing a jig in there. Maybe with a little swim bait on it or something. Drop shot. Maybe jerk bait. How many videos we did? I kind of, not really. I don't even know what the hell we're in this chat anymore. Marking fish, drop on them. Oh, Jesus Christ, what the hell just happened?
Sometimes it jumps like way over. Hurry, I need to pay.
Alright.
Thank you.
Yep. How good are you with Humminbird 360? When sitting relatively still, have you learned how to find and cast to specific targets? Absolutely. Absolutely we have. When you're sitting still and you see the structure, you see the rocks or a tree or whatever it is you're looking at, and when you watch that marker come around, you pretty much just line your rod up on the screen, and that's exactly where you need to cast. And then the lines, is it in 15-foot increments or 10 foot?
I usually have it set to 80, so each increment is actually 10 feet.
All right.
Because it's 80 feet.
There's 4.
40-foot radius.
Yeah. So, and on the graph itself, it'll have the lines, and then you pretty much do the math. I think he said his is in 10-foot increments. So you'll figure out your casting once you start feeling the structure down there, and it works. We have put more big bass on the boat using the 360 just because we can see where everything is. Sometimes you can even see fish on it moving around. You can mark schools actually really easy.
Especially bait.
And yeah, bait. I struggle bad, dude. I've never pitched fish 50 to 60 feet. We've done that a couple times. We've caught bass in over 50 to 60 feet.
Oh man, baby. Sorry.
Especially in the St. Lawrence River, that's like all we were fishing was 50 to 60 feet.
And especially last year at the
Yeah.
Brownie Factory, like 50 to 60, on the St. Lawrence was like the magic area.
Yeah. Anything less, there was nothing there.
But I want to elaborate a little bit on that 360. You can do a number of things with that to change it up. Like I like looking to see like what's around me, so I will use it specifically for hunting out different structure. Like it's one thing to go by with your side imaging, and you can still get a good idea of like, okay, I found rocks, or I found grass, or I found a steep bank, whatever. Like if you're good with your side imaging, you can read your contours and different structure and all that. But then the 360, that you can just on side imaging go by with one marker and then pull up on the outside of it and plop down your 360 and see literally everything.
It's insane.
Even I'll sometimes set it to 100 feet. So radially, from the center of the point, it's 50 feet all around. I see everything within 50 feet, or sometimes set out further 60. If I'm like fishing deep and I'm looking for like specific rock piles, then I'll do that. But you can also bias it. So instead of seeing the whole circle, you can just see the top half, right? And you could actually set it to, I forget what it's called, but it's basically like a windshield wiper refresh. And you crank up the speed, you kind of play with your sensitivity a little bit and stuff, and you zoom way in. Now you're setting like your total range to 30 feet. So now you're only seeing like, well, I think I've done 40 feet. So you can see everything within 20 feet in front of the boat. And if you're good and you've got your settings just right, because different color palettes play differently with different bottom structure and everything, you can mark fish, and it's damn near live. Like it at the highest speed, it's a pretty fast refresh rate where it's just constantly going back and forth, and you can follow those white dots around. And I did it last year. We were fishing a shallow flat, 5 feet of water, and I taloned down. It was dead slick, and I turned it on. I had it like that, and I was watching fish coming in and out of my range for like an hour. It was amazing. And then aside from that, we were deep, like spot lock out 40, 50 feet off your hump, and then just pinpoint cast to it.
Yep.
All day. You never miss.
There's been multiple times, more than multiple times, he's been like, rock 50 feet that way.
Yeah. I'll literally lie my rod down across my graph so I can, and I'll like lean back so he can see it. Be like, yep, it's like 45 feet right there. And he looks over my shoulder, sees it, and he's like,
Yep.
it just pinpoint accuracy. You can't, dude. We said it literally a dozen times or more in videos. Never mind all the other times it just happened and it didn't make it into videos, but like actually made it into the final cut on the channel, where we said we absolutely owe that fish to the 360. It completely changes the way I fish.
We've won tournaments because of it.
Yep.
Like the one that we won with all the smallmouth up in whatever the hell that was. Webster.
That one's a big lake. We can talk about that one. Yeah, that was awesome. It was key in that one too.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, 603 Bass Online Tournament. Maybe that could be done. Actually,
I have something completely separate that we may have to coordinate some sort of like online tournament thing.
Really?
For the Memo Foundation.
Ooh, okay.
So
keep me in the loop.
Yep.
I actually was talking to my buddy Dennis, who runs the Bass and Beers Facebook page, just today about a tournament idea I had from New Hampshire, because it's something we don't have, and I kind of want to do something like next level, but it's going to be a long shot to pull off, because in order to do it, it's going to be on Winnie, and it's going to require the use of one or two very specific sites in order to make what I have in mind happen. And it wouldn't be for like a money making thing. I'm sure there would be or could be money made. That's not the goal. I just want to be able to do something like big for New Hampshire, and I have an idea. I gotta start putting in work on this because I think it'd be like really sick. But to your point, 603 Bass Online Tourney, that could be done soon because my website is gonna be done pretty soon.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, I should actually talk to those guys before they're done. I think that'd be easy enough to add, and then we could track it and make my life a lot easier. I think it'd be done. Fishing boat. Never really done bad fishing shallow, so no need to fish deep. That's true. I thought that until I started to fish the Lakes region for a lot of tournaments in August.
I thought that too until I started fishing deep. Then you pull a 5-pound smallie out.
Hammer time. Never caught one below 26. Yeah, in the middle of summer, like 35 is kind of a magic number.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's getting deeper. Like the last 6 weeks last year, Hammer, you know exactly the pond I'm talking about. You and I have talked about it a bunch. Not your ponds, the other one I go to, up in Vermont. 45 to 50 feet. Well, actually, 40 to 55.
Yeah.
But most of them were 45 to 50. Was that magic number? We were just catching them pretty damn good that whole stretch.
For like 6 weeks, we were catching like 20-pound bags.
Yep.
Every day, every time we went there.
Invasive grasses like milfoil can choke out lakes and take away nutrients from native species, leading to fish kills. Jasper, you are absolutely right. That's the downside. I mean, if you leave milfoil like kind of on its own, like if it was a lake you couldn't have any sort of motor whatsoever to come in and chop it up and spread the seeds around, it actually does okay. It doesn't spread. It'll continue to spread, but at like a moderate pace, and at least give the lake something. But then when you get boats going through it, and I'm just as guilty, you just disperse the seeds, and it will choke out a lake in no time. Yeah, John, so you can set the line increments, but every time you reset the range as well, that like resets your line increments. So depending on what my range is, there's those, oh yeah, no, I know what you mean, because my line increments, there's 4. So if I'm at 80 feet, it's, well, technically it's 20, 40, 60, 80, but radially from center of the boat out, 10, 20, 30, 40. So that's easy for me to just, and like it's a good number for 40 feet within the boat, like that, you can see a lot without being too close to it. John Foster, we're on Squam Saturday Junior Bassmasters. That'd be interesting. I was gonna say fun, but now knowing the wind, that'd be interesting. Good luck, John, being able to host that and everything, and hopefully it all goes well. I'm electronically retarded. I wasn't gonna say it. What's the deepest you caught a largie? How deep was that one you would say to St. Lawrence, our first trip? Remember I got absolutely trucked. It was like 35 or 40 feet.
It was like 35 or 40.
And it didn't even fight hard per se. It just didn't run like smallmouth. It was like hooking into a bulldozer.
Yeah.
It
Just like the one I
oh.
sniped out from underneath TJ's boat.
Oh my, yeah.
That was like 45, 50 feet.
I think you had to be, yeah, where you caught that was absolutely 50 feet of water. So I think my deep.
He's like, they're not biting. I was like, I'm dragging. 4.5 pounder out.
Yeah. Yeah, so yours is like 45 to 50. I would say actually probably 50. Mine was about 35 feet.
But you cast it off of that hump down. It could have been 50 feet.
Yeah, that's true. We don't really know. It was funny though, because like I caught it, and I remember showing a picture of somebody like, "What the hell is that fish doing out there?" I was like,
seriously,
beats the hell out of me, but it was fun to catch, so I don't care.
Probably got lost, swept down current.
Yeah, seriously.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Probably, well, someone made a good point, and I tend to agree with it. It's probably a tournament fish. They're up shallow, and they caught it, and they were out deep, and they caught a smallmouth that called it, and they chucked it back.
That's a big call.
It was a very big call. It was good. That was good Largie.
It was like 3 3/4, wasn't it?
Yeah. Actually, that one stayed with us for the day. We took pictures.
Oh yeah. That picture we have in the bridge.
Yeah, I think so. No, we have not fished that one in Belmont, Gavin. There's one spot that I know where you can catch summer largies in 70-ish feet. Damn.
I want to go there.
Right?
I really, really want to go there.
That would be fun.
Let me know where it is.
Private message us, Jasper, please.
Yeah, seriously.
Oh, nice fishing mode. You're getting your talon brackets finally. Yeah, dude, like live. I'm going back and forth what I want next for the boat. My original intention was always to get 2 12-foot talons, and I know power poles are technically better, but I like the fact that the new gen talons, the 12-foot models, are shorter than my current Gen 1 8-foot talon. And 12-foot talons would be like ideal. I don't really care about speed. Like my boat will still do 60. That's good enough.
Do you know about silver like we do now, Dylan?
But yeah, dude, like, here's my thought on electronics, and take this however you want for anybody that's listening that's looking to buy something. If you have nothing, absolutely number one thing you should get first. I really want to say side imaging, but I'm tempted to say if you had to pick one over the other, I would say 360. You can break down water pretty significantly, which we proved just on your computer. Mm-hmm. You can already identify a lot of good spots. And then with the 360, the trolling motor is totally different story, John. Ultrex is always number one. Spot lock, anything with spot lock is number one. Mm-hmm. After that, if you already kind of have an idea as to where you want to start fishing, you can pull up, drop your trolling motor, and in 30 seconds know everything within 100 feet of where you're standing. Just like that. And exactly where it's located and exactly what it is, that's a patch of rocks, that's grass. There's a nice steep bank right there on that side, there's some riprap over here, everything in one shot, 30 seconds. Versus side imaging, I mean, yeah, you cover the whole lake, really, really fast, but, it's only good enough to get you to cover the whole lake. And then once you've identified areas, you have to rely on being able to position your boat and hope that your GPS waypoint is good and that you're actually casting where you think it is, using that little bit of scale on the bottom of your screen and everything. So it works, and if you're maybe a tournament guy that you're constantly going to places and you just want to get on the water and you want to drive around and actually see everything that way, then side imaging first. If not, I would put 360 on my boat before side imaging.
That's
I know, yeah. Oh, I was just talking to a coworker about that. Apparently, it's a nightmare to get your boat in there, but it's absolutely worth it if you can.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yep. So
oh my God.
That's my opinion. Like if my boat blew up outside while we're doing the stream, and I got my insurance money for it, and tomorrow I had to go buy a new boat, my whole budget would revolve around the newest, biggest boat I could get, with a trolling motor that has spot lock feature, and 360. And then I'd worry about everything else after that. I'd put money away and buy everything else after the fact. That's how much that all changes everything that I do. I can live without side imaging. It certainly helps, but I use my 360 way more than anything else.
Yeah, it's
live target would be great, but in order to really be able to adequately use that, you're gonna get a separate motorized turret to be able to work it independent of your spot lock, and that's like another $600, I think, is the cheapest version of that. And it's like this ugly, cumbersome pedal. It's too much.
Place sounds sweet. I want to go there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, John, the one you caught with me at Brownie, we were in 40 plus. Yeah, dude, like that whole breaking line we were fishing was anywhere between like 38-ish feet down to like 50. And that's where we were catching most of them. All right, Dylan, I understand. Yeah, man, I mean, we'll go. No joke. I had to think about it because I always forget all the names of the towns up there. But at my new job, I work with 4 other bass fishermen, and they're all tournament guys. So, like, it's actually pretty awesome. And we were all talking about stuff, and that specific lake came up, I think, like Thursday last week. Maybe it was the beginning of this week. And I brought that up. I was like, man, I've seen it. Like, I drive by it. I know where it is. I think I know where the launch is. And then they're like, oh, yeah, that's it. Just good luck. And I'm like, no, that's... If it's as bad as you make it out sound to be, that's literally like the average of everything we launch in.
Yeah, we're good. We got it.
Dude, if you had seen the launch I launched into on Sunday,
I believe it.
it came down like off like a 1.5 foot drop into a couple of boulders, and then going in the water was like that. So I get the tires in, the boat's like sitting up like this. I'm like, put it back in a little more before I unhook it. So by the time it rolls off the trailer, it's like,
dude, if we can launch into where I caught my PB, you can.
Yeah, you can launch.
We can launch anywhere. I launched my boat earlier this year there.
Oh yeah.
And actually wasn't that bad.
I mean, where you just were the other day, shore fishing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We do.
Actually, the backside looks meant for launching right now.
Really?
Like you can drive your truck right down to it.
Nice. All right. That's the thing about me is not. I got 4-wheel drive. I got a tow strap in my truck. I've had to use it one time. It wasn't even that sketchy to launch. The water was
I think
really
the
low.
sketchiest. Sorry, this is kind of off topic, but the sketchiest launch that we had was down at Candlewood.
Oh, dude!
Slam it and drive.
You weren't there where John and I. It was way worse.
Was it?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
like
Jesus.
The launch is like it's steep. It's got to be what 40-degree angle, not quite 45, but it's steep.
Freaking steep.
And everybody, there was already like a half dozen boats there, and they were launching up. So all the water had hit the boat launch and turned into a sheet of ice. And I'm going back, and I'm trying to get off the edge of the ramp so I get at least, one side of my truck in the dirt to get traction. And I'm not even there yet, and all of a sudden, well, I'm still, 20 feet from the water?
Yeah, you're
whole truck, boat, everything is sliding backwards. I'm locked up, and I'm picking up speed. I threw it in drive and stomped on the gas. That stopped it.
I was freaking. I was like, "What the hell are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh," because I was
is what I was doing.
facing the other way. Jesus Christ, that was funny. That was sketchy.
All right, Gavin, and Jasper, you have convinced me. We'll make it work.
Yep.
Sorry, not Jasper. Dylan. Yeah, dude, I've heard pretty good things about the Tarova Hammer Time.
I should get that.
And yeah, John actually concurs with us. Damn right. Nick, wish we could spot lock when purchasing a trolling motor for sure. Looking back, yeah, dude, it's. I mean, the plus side now, because Garmin's is actually pretty good, and then Lowrance Ghost is really good too. Like, a lot of people are bailing on Ultrexes, so you can get even like a 45-inch, 80-pound thrust, 24-volt Ultrex for not that much money, like 1,500.
Yeah, like $1,500.
It's an easier pill to swallow than 2,300. So it's it's getting close.
That guy offered one to me for like 12.
Damn.
And I was like, but I wasn't looking for me. I was looking for Kristen.
Right. Yeah, guys, keep the questions coming. Anything you want to learn? Again, techniques, baits, different lakes, different bodies of water, whatever. Hit it up. Hey, there you go, Jasper. Do you guys have any tips for river bass fishing? You're much better to answer this than I am.
River bass fishing? Just tips. Fish all the current breaks. Anywhere where the current can go slack. Like behind a big rock where you'll see the water boiling.
What?
See the water boiling behind it. Any turn in the river. Any hump in the river, like in the bottom. Behind all of that is going to be a current break. So, and they usually stack up behind them. And we've done that a bunch of times in videos where we're fishing a river and we're literally sitting in one spot because of the spot lock, and we're using the 360, finding these humps, and we're just sitting there picking smallmouth out of 35 feet of water in a river. They just stack up there.
then it was amazing.
And it was awesome. Every time it's awesome.
I have nothing else to add to that. Everything I would have said, he said. Fishing where are you? So, can't miss mine. It says fishing. Yeah, no, dude, I've seen beer boat. You're absolutely right. It's huge. Fishing Nashville last week. I normally do best fishing there. Could not do anything. Dude, I just saw somebody post about that on Bass Boat Central last night. And 2 other guys responded like, yeah, it's been down pretty hard this year. It's like, it's just the name of the game right now. And I can't say if it's beyond New Hampshire, but it's gotta be. There's no way it's just New Hampshire. Like, dude, like, it's like rare instances where it's not really difficult right now in this area.
It should be quite easy right now to go out and catch some decent fish.
I talked to Justin, the guy we keep seeing on the Connecticut River at the end of the year. Like, and he said the same thing. I was like, because Gary, he commented on my post earlier saying like it's been on. I was like, I should go. And so I texted Justin because I have his number. I was like, are there any tournaments there this weekend? Because I might go there Sunday. And he's like, no, but even he was saying it's like it's been tough. Like even his go-to like conference places, same for me. They're not panning out. The things that you should like clockwork for the last 10 plus years.
They're probably just stacked up in a different area.
It's got to be a combination of the wildly inconsistent weather, rebounding from the drought last year, and all of the insane
Fishing
extra
pressure?
added fishing pressure.
Yeah.
It is an ugly friggin' combo to be dealing with.
No stores have anything in them. Everything's sold out. Everyone's out there using all this stuff because sick of sitting inside, but they're usually sitting inside anyway. So.
Right. And you reminded me, I still have to order jigs and swim baits for the Champlain trip in a couple weeks.
Yeah, pissed I can't go.
That's all right. We'll be able to go later. Dennis actually asked if I wanted to do a long weekend up in Colby Saconte in Maine.
Mm-hmm.
So basically the same thing we're doing for Champlain, but go to Maine. And there's the same price and everything. It's right on the water, Lakeside Lodge. It's a great place. I've heard nothing but good things about that place for the last 15 years.
It's an 8-pound Largie right there.
Yeah, right. Don't worry.
I'm out to beat my PB. I don't care if my arm's broken. I was fishing a glide the other day and I got a fish on it. I'm happy.
I still haven't got a glide fish.
It was tiny.
We almost saw a guy get run over by it. Oh yeah, John, I forgot about that.
Say what?
Dude, we were at Candlewood. They were launching, and the guy was small SUV back, and same thing. But the guy was walking behind the car, and he almost got demolished.
Idiot.
All right, Gavin, good to know. Thank you. Holy friggin'.
Listen, right there.
Launch Sunday. What's the electronics shop your buddy has? Oh, Zach. Hey, buddy. Bass Fishing Electronics. It's just that. It's Bass Fishing, all one word, and then electronics. And he's in Auburn, New Hampshire. Gavin, no, I don't. YouTube too. I just know them by the name Bow Hunt. No, it doesn't ring a bell. Hey, Jamie. Thanks for stopping in, buddy. Ghost this past weekend, so quiet. Yeah, John, I've heard really good things about that Ghost. Like, I'm kind of tempted to get it because it's a drop-in replacement for my Ultrex, right? It's 24 volt, but that's the thing I like about the Ghost. It's both 24 volt and 36 volt. So if I want to go to 36, I don't need to buy another trolling motor. Plus, adding the fact that it's brushless, it's a 47-inch shaft versus 45, or I go to the 51, whatever it is. And because it's brushless, you get 1 extended battery power and 2 more power. So the Ultrex is 80 pounds. I believe the Ghost is either 87 or 90 pound thrust for the 24 volt. So you get more power and better battery life because it's a more efficient motor for the same damn thing. And if you want, you go to 36 volt. It's kind of like win-win. I could probably still get, like, without batting, I could sell my trolling motor tonight if I said $1,200, but I could probably get $1,500 still for my Ultrex. Might be doing that this year. Be pretty sweet.
I might be buying an Ultrex.
Hey, David. Any Bass Act? Hey, Ben, buddy. Let's see here. Fluger staying with that. Hey. Could be on the river next weekend. Nice, John. Yeah, Hammer, what's your water temp up there, buddy? I want to know, like, how it is, because down here, it's been, like, all over the place. I've had one pond in a 3-day stretch go from 58 to 50 to back to 56. All in, like, a week span. It's all over the place, man. Lakeside is great. Good. That's what I want to hear. All right, fishing mode will keep you posted. Pick roll. You got a pick roll on the popper? Yeah. Lakeside Lodge is awesome. Crew guys from Rhode Island have been going up every winter for ice fishing. Nice, good. Do you have any good areas to fish on Winnisquam? No, I don't. I've only fished Winnisquam probably 10 or 12 times in my life.
Right off the boat launch is pretty good. Like right outside of it.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Right where all the trash is.
All the beer cans from the ice guys.
Oh my god, it's horrible.
We can't even blame it on the ice guys. Who knows what it is? Could just be pleasure boaters, but it's bad. You're through the beer can graveyard right outside of the boat launch. John, I think for Sunday we're gonna go local. I think. I don't know, man. I'm torn between Inland Sea of Champlain and 30 minutes from my house.
John, my mom's watching.
Wildly inappropriate. Yeah, like that's actually not that bad for up there. 46 to 50. It's not bad at all. Brendan Woods, Cheshire County Pond last week. It was 45 degrees. Yeah, I believe it. I was talking to a coworker that was just up at Winnisquam. No, not a coworker. Fishing Mode, your buddy that donated the rods to my team for the high schoolers, which I actually will have a ton of extra to donate to any other high school teams that are in need this year. Once I figure out who my team is, what they need, they get first dibs, and the rest I'm going to meet up with whoever. If any of the high school teams, actually John Foster, if you're still watching, I got 17 rods. No, actually I think I have 22 rods right now. And then Fishing Mode gave me a ton of soft plastic tackle that I'm going to disperse. So, make sure my team gets at least a rod or two, depending on what they have or don't have. And then at least, just a basic kind of smorgasbord of tackle. And then I'm going to have a bunch of stuff to be able to help disperse out, to help out any of the other high school teams in need, or the New Hampshire Junior Bassmasters. Like, we have a lot of stuff, and I just want to make sure that everybody that really needs it, gets what they need. Hey, mouse, work with me here. I see his comment now. Mm-hmm. David, we're talking about questions. What are questions people have? What do you want to learn? That was kind of the big thing.
Yeah, pretty much. Find noise pollution affects fishing. Like, is there a million water skiers and it will be slow? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't think so. But there has been days where it's been super busy and it's been a slow day, but it also could have been because it was bluebird skies and 90 degrees out.
Right. It's hard to say. Yeah, Grat, the Bass Nation this Sunday in Winnie. I was originally intending to fish that with my buddy Travis Rocket, but I don't have. I just started a new job, so I can't take any time off to go up and pre-fish myself. And even then, I'd still be really relying on my buddy Travis, because I just haven't fished Winnie that much in the last few years. And he usually does pretty well for largemouth, and he had a rough day yesterday. So I told him, I was like, if you want to do it, because he asked me like a week and a half ago, I was like, I'll do it. But I can't pre-fish, so we got to go off like your confidence and everything. And he got skunked yesterday. So needless to say, we're not doing it this Sunday. Which is actually fine, because now that I got in this online tournament, I really want to focus on just trying to catch at least a good 3-fish limit and hopefully win some baits. Yeah, I can't wait. I'm hoping. Thank you, Justin. And dude, like, I love doing the high school thing. It is. I helped out Travis Rocket one year for the New Hampshire Junior Bassmasters, probably like 8 or 9 years ago. I don't know if they still do it, but at one point, they usually do a tournament on Wentworth Lake. So the state or the state park or whoever it was had to deal with them. Like, okay, you kids come in and do like a spring cleanup inside the state park, and we'll waive all your fees, for facility fees for doing your tournaments here. And generally, like, a bunch of parents will put up their bass boats for the day, and kids will clean for the first half of the day, and the second half of the day they take them out all fishing. They need an extra boat. Travis called me. He's like, "You want to come up?" Said, yeah, sure. Took a vacation day from work, went up, took a 14 and 15-year-old, and it was one of the most rewarding things I'd ever done. It was so much fun, and I didn't even know like anything back then. I knew a little bit, but really not that much. But we got into we kind of just figured out a good spinnerbait bite, like found a really good productive area, and I watched one kid catch dang near his PB, and then he dropped his PB, like a nice 4+ pound smallmouth. But it was fun. So the first opportunity I had to do the high school fishing thing, I jumped at it. It was a ton of fun. Yeah, Matt, there's John. You might be able to better answer this if you haven't already. I'm a little behind on the chat. Oh, nice. They still do state park cleanup. Okay, I'm bouncing between up and down here. Last year there was only 33 teams that made it to the state qualifying tournament, but the year before, for 2019, there was 37 teams. I don't know if that's the real number, or I'm assuming that was short because generally some schools have problems getting a boat for the day of. And then last year was further complicated, one by COVID, and two, I think last year was the year that they had the state team qualifying tournament the same week as the New Hampshire, the high school bass fishing qualifying tournament. And the STQT had rules that you couldn't be on the lake at all for the week, and that's when the state qualifying one was, or the high school qualifying tournament was. It's kind of a mess.
Catch fishing.
Yeah, dude, we all have forgotten how to catch fish this year, except for a few people. Been killing it.
Catch chips or smallies.
Boat fish it right after and pull fish off it. Yeah, no, you're right about that. Sorry. Oh, cranking tips or smallies right through the season.
Cranking's tough.
We've never had a good day cranking smallmouth. We've had one good day.
What do you mean? I had one good day.
Right, I can tell me about your one good day.
Cracking them on a chartreuse freaking
DVD 1.5.
Was that what it was?
Yep.
Square bill, yeah. That was fun.
Charge.
It was blowing probably 30s.
Yeah, I think it was like 15 to 20 sustained northwest winds on Newfound Lake, and then gusts up to 30 out of the northwest.
Oh, man.
But the water temp was right, and we knew like if you're willing to go up there and you're willing to play in that wind, it can pay off big.
Yeah.
And we did all right. I did all right. He did great.
Dude, that was a fun day. I just picked up that freaking square bill and started hucking as far as I could because the wind would carry it an extra 100 feet. And we were on this sand flat, and there was like little patches of like dirt, like leaves and stuff, just schmutz on the bottom, but they're sporadic, like all over the place. And as soon as you crank that crankbait through one of those dark spots, you get crushed. Oh man, it was so much fun.
Oh yeah.
I want to do that again.
Oh yeah, that's coming up soon. I think actually by the time you're out of that, it might be prime time.
3 more weeks.
Justin, that's awesome. Hopefully you'll be able to help out because I think Sean Graves, which I saw his new boat by the way, gorgeous. Oh, did I tell you about that? We ran into him over with me and Kristen.
Where?
The place with the bridge. I'll probably go with John on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Dude's like idling out right at me. Giant freaking Triton, like 12-foot poles hanging off the back. I'm like, okay, he must know me. I have no idea who this is because most people I remember by their boat.
Right.
And then he turns sideways like, oh, it's Sean. Oh, it's Sean. Brand new Triton TR 21X or whatever. Like 12-foot talons, the brand new 250. Oh, dude, it's a beautiful boat.
Damn.
But I think last year he was coaching two schools. One school he needed to help out with. Should ask about it. If you're really interested about that, I'm pretty sure somebody could use help. Oh, Gavin, what's your guys' opinion on favorite rods? You first.
We just gave a couple away.
Yep.
It's really all I know about them. I've never used one, so people buy them. People like them. I wouldn't say they're a bad rod.
I have no opinion on it.
Yeah.
Even if I wasn't sponsored by Luz, I still wouldn't have bought them. There's other brands that have been around longer that have a well-established, like phenomenal customer service reputation.
Or St. Croix or.
Yep, that's what earns my business. I try to help out new companies where I can, but like the image of companies matters to an extent. So I'll just leave it at that.
I'm not going to sacrifice anything on rods.
Nope. Brendan, what do you think about flipping a tube, Andrew?
What do I think about it?
Have you done that?
Flipping a tube?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. Not much, but I've done it a few times when I ran out of freaking craws.
I've tried it a few times. I actually bought some, like specifically some flipping tubes, and I didn't have any luck with it. Not to say it wouldn't work, but I just don't know if it was the wrong time or what, but I couldn't get it to work.
I couldn't, yeah. I mean, there was a dock, and I was flipping a dock with a tube, and I caught like 4 smallies off of it.
Yep, I remember that.
But that's about it.
Chatterbait trailer. When do you change? Watercolor, temperature, boot tail, fluke, Seiko. Damn, Grat, that's a lot of questions in one comment. You want to start with that? I know exactly how I'm going to answer that.
When it's hot, I throw a big swim bait trailer on it. And when it's colder, usually a smaller swim bait trailer, or I'll throw a craw on it.
Yeah. So I'm big on changing around colors too. Last year was the first year I started doing the fire craw thing. I'm not lying. I thought of it before the classic.
Yeah, you really did.
It was well before that. It was back in January, so well before the classic. And I bought some fire craw. I forget who I was talking to, but we were talking about like it was like a week or two before the New England Expo in Boxborough, Mass. And we got talking about cold water baits, and all of a sudden I was like clicked. I was like, wait a minute. If a red fire craw lipless crankbait kills it, why wouldn't other red fire craw baits kill it? I need a red fire craw jacket and a spinner bait and a glide bait. Like I didn't say glide bait at the time, but that I did this year. But I was like, I need everything red fire craw just in case. Yeah, that paid off big time. I got all my fire craws in like a couple weeks before the classic happened. And even now, you still can't get them. I don't know if part of that's my fault because I've been talking about it a lot, but dude, cold water, black and blue, or that fire craw has been the like dominant producing colors for me for a bladed jig
For a very long time.
Yeah, like it's a big window. But then at a certain point, that red fire craw kind of shuts off. Black and blue is almost always good in stay in water conditions.
I didn't even change anything last year. I used that purple one for a little bit because I ran out of black and blues.
Yep, purple's good. I got that. The Brett's bluegill is another one. That bluegilly kind of perch hybridish color combo. For me, I'm the same deal as him. I'll go anywhere from a 5-inch to a 3.5-inch swim bait. The Beast Coast Marauder for a craw trailer is phenomenal. It's the right size. The legs are like kind of long and thin. They just have that little like kind of bump at the very tip of the legs. They swim awesome. Strike King Rage Craw is really good too, but it, like sometimes I feel like it's almost too much and there's too much action in the legs and it kind of like throws it off. But I need to pay better attention next time I throw it. But you know, anything like that, those have always worked really well. That Z-Man Zako I've heard is phenomenal in the back one. I just haven't even bought a single one yet.
Oh, I started using the Z-Man Goat as well.
Yeah.
Which is like a craw trailer, and that thing's sweet.
Ah!
What just happened?
I highlighted everything. I need a new mouse for this. Justin, yeah, I do best everything. Lisa, I know you've already addressed this once, but could you please explain again about weight of line with jerk baits and swim baits?
Weight of line?
For jerk baits, 10 pound or 12 pound straight 4-0, I like.
10 or 12 would be smart.
Yep.
I'm stupid.
Andrew does 15 pound.
Because I'm dumb. And I don't want to.
Limited rod setups.
I don't want to learn. I don't want to lose a $25 jerk bait.
Yeah, did I tell you I snapped my rainbow pattern Vision 110 the other day?
Yeah, the head right off of it.
Yeah, that's that's it. I mean, that'll cover everything you need to. The lighter line weight you use, the deeper you can get a jerk bait in general. So keep that in mind. 10 pounds is gonna go a hair deeper than 12 pound. I like both.
I'm gonna start using a lot less line. Lighter line this year.
Just go to 12 because like 12 is ideal because a rod that you can throw a good jerk bait on, you can do so much with for so many other things. And 12 pound is like, to me, that sweet spot. It's, you know, light and supple enough that you can throw light crankbaits or light jerk baits and you still get them down at a pretty good depth. You know, you're really not sacrificing much on your depth there. You can do a ton of soft plastic Texas rigging, like any moving bait, like for treble hook stuff that's not super huge. Like it's just a 7-foot medium fast rod with 12 pound fluoro. You can do so many things with light jigs, spider jigs, finesse jigs, cranking, jerk baits, whatever you name it.
12 pound, yeah.
So
only use 12 pound.
Right, like it does a lot. 10 pound, now you're kind of.
I went from 12 to 20, and then I came back down to 15 because 20 was too much.
Because if you go to 10 pound, I actually like that better. I have a dedicated cranking and jerkbait setup that has 10 pound, but I don't really feel comfortable using that for like anything else, especially if I'm dragging it near structure, just because 10 pound still relatively stout, and like 10 pound abrasives is still pretty good, but I want that little bit of added security when I'm working around structure like rocks and stuff. Nick, what water temps are you looking at on the pond and good day cranking? Just running it mid water column? I don't know. I'm so like out of the loop with cranking. I don't even know how to answer that now.
I really haven't. I mean, that's what I wanted to do more of this year was cranking. Yeah. And I did a lot of it last year, but that was just square bills up shallow in the rocks. I wasn't
Which
really.
is really all you need to do. Like
Yeah.
that square bill in the spring, deflecting off shit, has always been good.
How many
Giant fish did you catch too?
last year alone? I caught a 636, a 529, and like a bunch of 3.5 pound smallies on just cranking it through the rocks last year.
Yep. When I started branching out, 13-ish years ago, beyond just Texas rigging little baits, that's what my dad taught me. I got into cranking, spinnerbaits, and then jigs were the first ones I started doing. And for I've kind of gone in and out of cranking ever since then. You can make it work pretty early in the year, especially a square bill. One of the things I learned is if you can get some lead tape, whether it's the suspend dots or someone recommended a couple weeks ago, one of these streams, the lead tape you use for your golf clubs and stuff, put a little strip either on the back or under the belly, and you help weigh down your square bill a little bit, and that just helps slow the rise rate on your bait. There's one day 3 years ago now, maybe 4 years ago, where we were working a shallow area and the water was still cold. It was early in the year and the water was only about 50, but they were stacked down this shallow spot. It's kind of like the weather is now. A lot of warm rain. Water temp was coming up really fast in that back area. There's a good mix of vegetation and rocks, and the fish were stacked back there. It was too shallow to get a jerkbait. So I tried a square bill, and I could see fish after fish after fish chasing it. But as soon as I killed it, they'd try and come up and nip it, but it would come rocking back up to the surface, and they wouldn't touch it. So I put 4 suspend dots on the bottom of my jerkbait, and that halved how fast it came up, and that was literally the difference. I went from catching nothing to I ended up catching like 15 fish in a 2-hour period, which pretty good. Not crazy great, but it's pretty good. Like something to keep in mind. Like that wobble on that square bill alone is sometimes enough to get their attention.
Oh yeah.
Deflect it, it's 10 times more attentive to it. But then if you can just do something just to change it up a little bit, especially like if you can slow that rate of how fast it's coming back up, that sometimes is a difference maker. And I still have a handful of crankbaits that I left my suspend dots on, specifically for those instances. And I've made it work several times more in the years since that first day I learned that. Pete, no. Not even gonna read it out loud. Where'd it go? Holy crap, we were way behind. Gavin, I really would like to buy a Mach Crush. Do you guys like it? I have the Mach 2 speed spin reels, but that's all I have for those for the Mach series.
Are you looking for the Mach Crush, the combo, or
probably?
I think it's the rod. I just looked it up. It's like a $200 rod and reel setup. It seems pretty decent.
Yeah, I think my buddy Kyle bought a couple of those Mach Crush rods, and he likes them. I haven't heard a single complaint out of him. And I don't mean this in a bad way at all, but like if there's something bad that he doesn't like we'll hear about it.
Oh yeah.
But that's just that's like
he'll be like, don't buy this stuff. It sucks.
We're good about communication amongst like all our friends. Like if we find something that's good, sometimes we're very hush hush about it.
Yeah, like me and him both bought the same line from the same store.
Yep.
And like at separate times, it was literally I think it was like the same day that we went in at separate times. Didn't even know about it. And me and him went fishing, and he's like, dude, this line sucks. It keeps breaking off. I'm like, what'd you get? It was whatever. I don't remember what it was. And then I started breaking off on the same spool, same thing. It must have been a bad.
Or really old. They probably a box they found
really
out
old.
back.
It was at Walmart, so it was probably really old.
Yeah. I know Mark. Mark's a good guy. Ran into him several times out in the lakes. Especially during mouse, come on. Wait, stop it. It is time for new mouse. This sucks. Whoa! Where are we? Our stock trout and major spring food source for bass. Oh, yep.
That's all I gotta say about that.
Yep. Hey, Dan. How you doing, buddy? I have one jerkbait set with 10-pound fluoro. That's when I need to get extra depth with a +1 or +2 in really cold water. So I learned a thing 2 years ago for really cold water, like below 45 degrees, basically right after ice out and like the last couple weeks at the end of the year, I go to a copolymer line. So a fluorocarbon coated monofilament. I'm curious, who else does that? Because it's supposed to be the best of both worlds. You know, fluoro sinks, mono floats, the two of them together, it's supposed to be pretty close to naturally buoyant, for lack of a better way to put it, but it's not really. It suspends, but it's not going to weigh your bait down or keep it up, and it's supposed to be the better bet. And I'll go to 10-pound on that. And I'll buy a 300-yard spool, and I'll use it for maybe a total of 6 to 8 weeks out of the whole year, and I rip it all off again. That'd be silly. I almost said I need to buy an extra reel just to put that on. That's stupid.
We just can't.
Just be way cheaper to keep going through line. John, good thing he's building you a cranking rod. Damn right.
Oh yeah.
Although he said that because we're barely talking about cranking.
I know.
You're welcome, Nick. So, Kevin, I was probably being broke, so I'll find something a bit less money. I don't remember how much the Mach 2 combo is. I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to be getting an affiliate code to use for Lose as part of the sponsorship, but I think it's gonna give a discount. If it doesn't, I want them to do that. I've been trying to push other companies I work with to do that too, so I can offer something back to all my subscribers, which would be sweet. But
Crush
only
is
some
good.
of them do it. Crush is good. Yeah, I've heard those are good. I should pick up some of those lower end rods. Are you doing your show? Yes, Andrew's dad. We're doing the show. Oh. Yeah. No. David, I saw your message. You're right. Sometimes it is easier to have 4 different setups. Damn, 3910. What else you guys got for late questions? Text Jim and tell him to stop going live when we're live.
Setting hooks on rocks is allowed, right? Yeah, hook sets are free.
Oh my god.
He says that all the time. Hook sets are free. I'm like, yeah, until you lose a freaking $10 jig.
But we don't do that often. For one. 2, if you didn't watch the Candlewood trip with me and Andrew and Derek, the owner of Beast Coast, you need to, because Andrew had one of the most magnificent hook sets into a stump I've ever seen. And Derek had the best reaction to said hook set I have ever witnessed. Dude, he almost fell out of the boat. He was laughing so hard.
Yeah, that was a pretty good hook set.
Dude,
if that was a fish,
you reeled down and everything, and you're like, good. The rod didn't go anywhere.
I'm like, damn it.
Oh, Derek was dying. That was so funny.
I wanted, because we hadn't even got a fish yet, I don't think. And I wanted
I had one early, and that was it.
I wanted that fish.
Yeah, you did.
So I did the same thing on that 4.5, or the 4 1/4, whatever it was.
Yeah, you did. Nobody uses $10 jig. He just doesn't know what it means.
Yeah, they're like expensive. Not that expensive.
No. What 5 rods should every angler have? Oh, that's an excellent question. I want to go first on this one.
Go ahead.
Okay, so
my answer's probably gonna be the same.
I think you can get away with all 7-foot rods. Like, if you want to make 5 rods that are as damn near as close to universal, in the sense of you can do literally anything with all of this stuff in one shot, 7 foot's kind of like that magic number. You might be better off with at least one rod a little bit longer, but still 7 foot is kind of my starting point. You want, we'll say, a 7.5 foot heavy extra fast with braid. You can do a bunch of bigger baits. You can do big top waters, like if you want to do the BBC rat. You can do all your frog stuff with that. You can flip and pitch in the slop. You can do anything else you can possibly think of where you want heavy braid, heavy applications, right? 7.5 foot heavy. Then the rest of them are going to be all 7 foot, and it's going to vary. I would say another 7 foot heavy, and it could be 7 to like 7.3 roughly. 7 foot heavy fast, and that would be another like 15 to 20 pound line combo. But I would say this would be like 18 to 20 pound, and a 6:3-to-1 ratio. On the other one, I would make that a high speed ratio, because all that stuff you're doing everything with the rod tip
For spinner baits.
Yep. So the next one would be like a 7.2 heavy, so you can throw like 1/2 ounce of 3/4 ounce spinner baits with a trailer on it, and straight 20 pound fluoro. You could do chatterbaits. You could do swim jigs with swim baits. You could also do flipping and pitching with it if you work in kind of like light duty vegetation. You could do heavy jigs with it. You could do Carolina rigging. You can do a bunch of stuff, and you can bomb it, and you've got really heavy line to handle all of that as well. With 20 pound line, you can do a ton of stuff. After that, a 7 foot medium heavy fast. And that's kind of like your like higher end of do everything. I would do just straight 15 pound with a 6:3-to-1 ratio on that. And with that, you can do almost everything except for maybe top water, but that's kind of what you get your bigger rod for anyway. But that would be like a great jerkbait rod. You could do heavier cranking stuff. I said jerkbait, I meant jig. You could do Texas rigging, but with like a little bit heavier stuff. Fourth one, 7 foot medium to medium, moderate fast to fast. straight 12 pound. Now this is kind of your light duty stuff, light duty Texas braid. You could even go straight braid on this if you were feeling a little freaky, but I'd still stick to a 6.3-to-1 ratio reel on that. You could do lighter top water. You could do cranking with braid, not so much a good idea, but light duty jigs, like finesse stuff, Texas rigging, the whole 9 yards. And then I would have at least one good 7-foot medium, moderate fast spinning rod. So you can do super light duty finesse stuff. Senkos, drop shot, Ned rig, shaky head. Dude, you name it. You can do everything with those 5 setups.
Yeah, you got it covered.
Do you concur?
Yes.
I'm giving a lot of thought. 5 wicked custom rods.
Yeah. Yes, 100-pound braid is way too much.
Who the hell said 100 pounds? Did I say that?
Dylan.
Where?
Is 100-pound braid good for wacky worms? No.
God, no.
It's like 10 to 12 pound.
I have been giving a lot of thought into braid the last couple of years. I know a lot of guys, it's like, if you're frogging, you're going to have 80. Flipping and pitching, like 2 ounces weights, you're going to have 80.
Why?
Wholly, absolutely, completely unnecessary. I'll die on that hill. 50 is the absolute max you need to go. It will serve you for everything you want, and that gives you like 5x safety factor what you really need to be doing. And you get that much more line capacity without having this like god-awfully, well, it's not really that thick, but super thick braid. Huh?
It's actually not thick at all. It's probably 100-pound is probably not even as thick as 15 pound.
Well, I was saying like 80 pound to 50 pound.
Oh, yeah.
I still like 80 pound braid, I think is the equivalent of like 15 pound floor or something like that.
Yeah, it's
maybe 20 pound. But the line diameter difference is actually pretty significant. But 100 pound?
No.
You only need that for salt. So, no, absolutely get rid of it. Like, I fish straight 10 pound braid on all of my spinning setups. You really don't need much. On everything else, I have
10-pound braid is
it's like
way
2 pound diameter. Line diameter.
And it'll handle way more than 10 pounds.
Yeah, it's crazy how much that braid can actually handle. On my frog rod, I have 50 pound, and honestly, sometimes I feel like it's overkill. I might just go to 40 this time when I reline it, because I just got a new reel from Lose. On one of my swim bait rods for my top water setup, I have straight 30 pound J braid. I don't need more than that. It's fine. I haven't needed more than that. I can tell you right now, the only time I broke that off is when I backlashed on a really aggressive cast. So it's like,
I was literally watching a dude catch Goliath grouper the other day out of his kayak. He had, I mean, they're 300-pound fish, and he was catching them on 80-pound braid with like, it was like some god awful freaking like 400-pound fluoro leader or something, but the braid was like not much at all. He just set the drag right, and he ended up landing it, but it was freaking huge.
Damn. Don Swami, what line do you guys use for flipping jigs and T-rigs into moderate cover on relatively clear lakes? You first.
15 pound.
For stuff like that, like anything other than not super heavy stuff, 15 to 20 pound fluoro.
I was so scared to not throw anything less than 20 into cover because I didn't want to lose a big fish. And then I was like, you know what? I'm losing so much casting.
Right.
Casting distance using 20 pound. I moved down to 15 for that type of stuff for jigs and everything. And you cast freaking 100 feet further and you can horse some big fish out of some nasty shit.
Don Swampy again, braided fluoro for jigs. I started kind of doing it.
Kyle does it.
I know a lot of guys that do. My problem was up until late last year, I didn't have a leader knot that I was comfortable doing that with.
Yeah.
Now I do. I use a blood knot. And I've been debating doing it. But I really like being able to have straight fluoro because I know I'm probably missing a bite here or there. On my jig rod though, my custom built one, I'm not missing much. He can attest to that. It's about the most sensitive thing you put in your hands.
Yeah.
And I like that. Like, I can just drop the hammer on my hook set. And it removes the whole equation of whether or not I set it too hard or set it too light with braid. Just drop the goddamn hammer on. And how many fish do I miss on the jig?
On a jig, not many.
Yeah, it's probably like 1%.
Yeah.
It's rare that I lose a
don't.
fish on a jig. Same with him.
Usually never do. Unless my knot is broken off because of a rock. My knot usually doesn't let go.
Yep.
My leader usually doesn't ever let go if I'm doing drop shot. But we hammer our hook sets on fish.
Oh yeah, and it feels good in that sense. It's one less, one less link in the chain. Really, what it comes down to, right? And there's that saying, you're only as strong as your weakest link. So that's always the idea I've had in the back of my head. What do we got here? Power Pro. Ooh, David got a tequila back rack that covers all power and swim fishing. Very nice. Dylan, what line do you prefer? Because I can't stand rat testing. All I do is Texas rig most of the time. You first.
Well, your line isn't gonna make a rat nest.
True.
The line do I prefer? I like Seaguar Red Label. It's cheaper than a Braze X. A Braze X is super nice. I've definitely used it before, but
it's more than 2x the price.
Yeah, it's like $45 a spool. Or
no, that's
$40.
Tatsu.
Is that Tatsu?
Yeah,
okay.
So Red Label, last I bought it was about 15.
Between $15 and $18 roughly.
Yeah, whereas a Braze X is 32 to 36 bucks.
Yeah.
A spool. And then
Tatsu's like 40.
It's 45 a spool.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I only use Tatsu for my 8-pound limit. But I used Red Label for, 5-6 years before I switched to a Braze X?
Yeah.
And I still don't even use a Braze X for everything. I use a Braze X for my jig rod, which is straight 15-pound fluoro. So, but I'm Seaguar and Daiwa across the board.
Yeah, Daiwa J-Braid and Red Label for me.
I use Red Label for all my 18-pound and 20-pound applications when I'm straight fluoro and leaders. Straight 10-pound, I actually use Seaguar and Vizix because it's a little bit stretchier, even though it's still fluoro. So, but on that rod, it is specifically a treble hook bait only, or bait rod only. So just jerk baits, just crank baits. So I kind of want a little bit of added stretch into that, but I still want fluoro because I like throwing around hard structure. My straight 12-pound and straight 15-pound fluoro setups are Brazix. But then, for the so for the 12-pound though, I'll use that for my leader because I'm not gonna buy a 12-pound spool of just Red Label unless I need one in a pinch and I don't need to reline my 12-pound rod. Then I'll go buy Red Label because all of my leaders, 8-pound is Tatsu, period. 10-pound, 12-pound, I do Red Label, and then depending on what I'm doing, sometimes I'll do 15, 18, 20-pound leaders, but that's all my Brazix stuff. So that's it kind of covers the whole spectrum. That Red Label is great. The only downside of it is that it's a little stiff for what it is. So especially in that 20-pound stuff, it gets line memory pretty decent.
Yeah.
But dude, it's good. I have worked. We both have. We still do. We go through some gnarly crap. That line still holds up great.
Oh yeah.
Gavin, what is your guys' PB? We answered this recently, but I always like answering this question. You first.
My largemouth is 7.7 and my smallmouth is 5 pounds even.
He just couldn't let me have one. I took him to the Brownie Factory the first time, right? We had a year-long tournament with me and him and a few friends, and I was leading on biggest smallmouth and best 5 smallmouth until I took him to the Brownie Factory. And you made up a damn near 3-pound deficit in one day, including taking a tie on PB smallies.
That was a fun day.
It really was still. We had 5 and 2 4s, and I had 3 4s. And the smallest of my 4s was 4 even. What was our bag? 22 pounds and change?
20. I thought it was 23 and a quarter. I think it was.
It was a damn because you had
23.16.
Is that what it was?
That's what it was.
That was insane.
I can't remember anything, but I can remember anything about fishing.
My smallmouth is 5 pounds even, which I've done twice now. Vermont Brownie Factory last November. I was alone. The other one was Newfound in 2011. 5 pounds even on jerkbait. I was alone. And then my largemouth I just caught last September on Lake Winnipesaukee. 7 pounds 5 ounces. I was alone. I had no one to celebrate.
Whoops.
Oh, David. I've been on a braided leader kick for the last 3 seasons. I'm starting to get back to straight floral for quite a few applications now. I just like the feel of straight floral for some of my things, especially like single like hook applications.
Yeah, the Invisex, I don't like the Invisex. I saw somebody mention it earlier.
I was looking at something else. I was looking at Trilene. Yeah, Kotu said Invisex.
Oh, that's what it was.
Trilene, no, I don't touch anymore.
Trilene, I did that 25-pound green shit they sell for big game, whatever. I was throwing my big baits on that. And when I hooked into like a 12-inch round tree and pulled 12 feet of it out of a bank of a river, it was too much. So I don't use that stuff anymore.
Oh, come on. This mouse sucks. Slee, how would you fish a lake that has 15 feet of visibility? I need more info than that. Is it deep? 15 feet of visibility is pretty damn clear.
That's
in my opinion.
really freaking clear.
I guess it doesn't
That's
really
like
matter
any
if it's deep
like
or
real
shallow.
clear glacier lake we have around here. It's like pretty much look for the bait.
Yep. Look for the bait. Yeah, we don't really have any good largemouth lakes like that. Anything that's clear like that tends to be a good smallie lake.
If there's larges in it, there's not many, and they're usually ginormous.
Yeah, they're
And
usually a pain in the ass to catch.
Really hard to catch, yeah.
Because I can think of a couple of local spots we have that, like the new place we went to last year, where you caught your PB smallie place.
Oh, yes.
And you guys saw that wolf pack of largies.
Oh, yeah.
there's that.
Oh, my God. There had to have been a couple hundred largemouth.
Then there's
Ooh.
the other spot where you and Jeff were in your boat and me and Keith were in mine. We did the dance party at night.
Yeah.
That place has giant largemouth. And it's one of the clearest lakes in the state. It's in the top 10 clearest lakes in the state. You can see down.
We should go.
We should. It's open now.
There's rock-
Giants.
I caught so many rock bass out of there, though.
No.
Yeah.
No.
That night I caught like three or four.
I don't remember that. Anyway, yeah. Clear lakes like that, I like to go finesse more than anything. Long casts and a fish around bait, like he said. But like finesse is usually I just like finessing in clear water. Not to say you can't get away with bigger stuff. Like I know guys that work like one of the things I'm really starting to learn a lot more on is glide baits for bigger baits, and they do really well in really clear water. So you know you can make a big just jig work in really clear water. For jigs, spider jigs, love a spider jig in clear water. One of my best producing baits for smallmouth in clear water. Tubes, you know, things like that. I try to go more natural and more finesse in clear water like that.
Yeah, 'cause like murky, shitty water, you can get away with throwing something wacky looking, and they're gonna eat it because they can sense it's something in the water trying to struggle.
Yeah.
But no, it's just you trying to struggle to fish.
Yeah, there's that. Gavin, biggest smallie is 4.2 to silver. Largie was just over 6, also in silver. That's awesome, man. Those are good those are both good fish. You fishing mode, you reline so many rods every tournament? I don't do that. I don't reline a rod until I'm down to nothing. Now, before I go into the tournament, I will strip 10 feet of my line off and retie everything. But I never completely reline. I can never understand the point of that. That's just so wasteful, in my opinion. Hammer time. 14-pound vanish and 8-pound vanish. Big spool each.
That's what it was. Vanish. That's the shit that kept breaking on us.
Yeah, I never had good luck with vanish myself. Yeah, Jasper, it depends for spots that have both larges and smallies. Because unfortunately,
both larges and smallies usually have big fish. I mean,
it depends on like what kind of lake it is, what the main forage is. Because like one will choke out the other. But
I can think of two.
Yeah. Well,
three.
So the place where you just got when you were in your boat, I was in mine. What are you doing in that house there? I'm just gonna sit there.
Oh, yeah.
That place. So the guy I fished with this past weekend, Chris, that used to be a spot where he would catch giant smallmouth until somebody introduced those largemouth.
Yeah,
and then
largemouth are fucking everywhere.
Yep, and now their weights have balanced out. But that's kind of the thing with any lake, right? Like,
yeah, we saw a good largemouth.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. I think the largemouth will take over. And there's still some good smallmouth in there. Clearly, you caught them.
Yeah.
But like the number of 6-pound and even 7-pound smallmouth that used to be in there, they're gone.
I don't think they're gone. I think they're just going to be harder to catch.
Yes, to both. I think some of them are gone.
I mean, yeah.
At a certain point, there's only
Yeah,
Every
some of them are
acreage of
definitely
water only
gone.
supports
Not all
X
of them, though.
poundage of bass. You introduce the largemouth, they start getting big. Eventually, some of these small are going to get crowded out, and things happen.
That's when Fish and Game needs to introduce a fish call.
Yeah, they really do.
Anything under 2 pounds, get the hell out of there.
I want to. There's got to be a better way to manage our lakes. Like, not all the time. Like, we clearly know of a dozen different lakes that if we can go in there and call out 50, anywhere in some spots just 50, and other spots like 200, maybe even 300, 1 to 2 pound bass, that would make a dramatic positive impact on those lakes.
Mm-hmm.
And there's other places that are just fine. You don't need to touch them. Don't do a goddamn thing to them because they are perfect. And there's tons of places like that.
Right.
But there's clearly a ton of places that need help. Everything in southwestern New Hampshire, for example.
Literally everything.
Dude, there's so many ponds out there that are suffering from overpopulation. Although, one of my favorite places, I've been fishing forever, Chris and I had that really good day with the jackhammer. Remember I was telling you about it? You caught that 5-pound, 2-ounce largie there years ago, early in the year.
Yeah.
So that's bought.
Okay.
Dude, every fish we caught was fat.
Good.
And they were 2 to 3 pounds.
Good.
It wasn't just 1 to 2s anymore.
Good.
Like, it feels like overnight that place all of a sudden got better.
Yeah, people have been catching big fish out of there again.
Makes me happy.
Really big fish, actually.
Oh, okay, fishing mode, I got you. Back in the chat already. Alright, Gavin, good to know. So, yeah, any bass addict, don't forget FC Sniper 2. I know a lot of people that fish that and love it. I myself bought 1 spool, and Andrew was there in that tournament on Franklin Pierce Lake. Snap, 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 snap. My first 4 bites I snapped off. Brand new spool line. Ordered from Tackle Warehouse too. So I doubt it was old. And I was just tying a Palomar knot. I was, spitting on the knot every time I tightened it down. I was doing literally everything right and a good knot. And I broke off my first 4 fish.
Mm-hmm.
I ripped that spool line off when I got home and I went back to Red Label. I didn't have a problem after that.
Right.
So it wasn't the rod or anything. What did Chris say? Used Vanish 8 pound for leader and drop shots for years. Never failed me. Quite terrible as a main line. Yeah, there's like a lot of lines you can get away with for a leader line. That's just absolutely fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're going straight on it, like P line, like the blue box,
No.
Screw that. But I would use it for a leader line.
I used to use it, but now I don't.
Yeah. Jasper, how can you tell this lake is overpopulated versus just catching young bass?
Because you're catching too many young bass.
When you go out there literally for a whole season and you catch nothing but 1 to 2 pound bass, that's overpopulation.
You should be catching at least a 3 to 4 pound bass every time you go out.
Right. If you know what you're doing.
If you know the place well.
Right. Or at least every other trip.
Yeah.
Like it should be like a well balanced pond or a really good pond will kick out and for New Hampshire specifically, at least a 3 pound bass every time you go out.
Yeah.
If you are struggling to even see, and in this case, in this pond,
that's on like an average 8-hour day, 6-hour day.
Yep.
You should be able to find at least 1 3-pounder.
I'd like to think that maybe we're not the greatest anglers by any means, and never pretend to, but we're pretty goddamn good. Like we know what we're doing. And in this pond in particular, we fished it 100 times. We saw 3 fish that came out of it, in all those 100 trips that were over 4 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
In 100 trips, only 3 fish over 4 pounds. That's bad.
That's real bad.
That's
I caught the 3 3/4 out of there last year on a wake bait.
Yeah. I had a couple of heavy 3s on like random swim baits or spinner baits, but even still, like that still sucks. To only even catch a handful of 3s in 100 trips.
Yeah.
Like that's bad. Whereas before, because that was one of the places I grew up on, my dad, and just fishing the stupid Texas freak rubber worm. Like literally, that's all we did. A 4-inch ribbon tail black rubber worm, or a 5-inch zoom lizard. That's literally it. I never neither my dad nor I, until I was like 21 or 22, I forget, fished anything other than that. And everybody would come away with a 4 every freaking time we went to this place. Somebody would come away with at least 1 4-pounder. And then one day it just stopped happening. And then, not stopped happening, it was like once every 3 to 4 trips. And then all of a sudden it was like, damn, we only got like 1 or 2 a year, to like, holy shit, it's been a couple years since that happened, and oh my god, where will the 3s go? And in like a 5-year window, the place just dried up, and it was overpopulated with rats. So that's how it goes. Oh, Brendan, punching in the Northeast. When and where is it useful?
When it's super freaking hot.
Yeah.
Like on those really hot summer days where it's like almost unbearable to be out there. You go try and find the thickest, nastiest stuff and put a 1 ounce weight on and punch that stuff.
I cannot wait.
Yeah, you're telling me.
For you to come up to Champlain.
I'm going to break my wrist again swinging on fish.
You probably are. Dude,
not even kidding. I probably will.
They're only like 2-pounders too, and it felt like you're hooking into a 6 every goddamn time. Just,
yeah.
You know, 65-pound braid or 50-pound in my case, just donk.
I'm literally
oh
gonna, dude. They're giving me a brace. I'm gonna tape it up when I go do that, because I will break it again on a hook set.
No. You know what you're doing, Dave.
David, you know, yeah. Shh.
Alex, are the bass pushing up shallow? It depends on what hour of the day it is.
Seriously.
Dude,
I mean, I caught that glide in like a foot of water. The glide fish in like a foot of water.
I went out with Andrew, and I went out on Sunday. Not this past weekend, the weekend before. And we caught every single one of our fish, and they were all good fish in 3 feet of water or less. And then I went out with my friend Kristen 3 days later, and we couldn't buy a bite in 2 feet of water. Every fish came out in like 6 to 8 feet in 2 days because of a massive cold front. And then the next day after that, Thursday, I caught literally every single one of my fish in 2 feet of water or less. They're so all over the place. You have to completely cover both ends of the spectrum right now. You have to search literally from the shoreline out to like 10 feet of water. Because with this weather in New England, how it's been so up and down, they could be anywhere. It's nuts.
Seriously, I haven't even been able to go out fishing, and I know it's going to be tough just because I wake up and it's freezing cold, raining, just bad weather, and then it gets hot, and then it gets cold again at night. I know I'm not missing much, but I miss it right now.
Gavin, hopefully you're still here. Have a good night, buddy. Hopefully I caught you before you left. Fishing mode, I'm all set with the spawn. I'm ready for the pre-spawn, that window right before it. Alright, have a good night, Lisa. Thank you. Hopefully I caught you in time. Kevin, I would absolutely be down for a group trip to Champlain. I'm going May 13th through the 16th, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Be there. I'm sorry.
Son of a bitch.
It's your own fault. You're just saying such a little bitch ass wrists.
You know.
So, and that's the thing, Brendan. You don't necessarily need to find super thick mats, and punching doesn't necessarily mean heavy.
It doesn't.
You could be punching with a 1/2 ounce weight. You're just looking for thick vegetation, like just lily pads. And you know, like that stuff that's like the really, really thin, tall stalks with like the little like $50 size
and they're
lily
kind of
pads.
Spread out.
Yeah, but sometimes, and even we'll get areas where it's like dense.
Yeah.
But that could be in like 6 to 8 feet of water. I'll punch that. I'll punch. It's flipping and pitching.
Yeah.
Same principle, really. Yeah, fishing mode. I know what you mean, buddy. No, Chris, spawn is definitely not hitting you in Central New Hampshire anytime. Well, you know how it is, New Hampshire. Like, dude, we don't know what the forecast is 3 or 4 days out from now. Like, 3 days in New Hampshire is a stretch.
Could be 80, could be snowing.
Right, it could change. And it's happened so many times where it's like, oh yeah, the next 10 days it's going to be pretty consistent in the 60s. And then 2 days later it's like, oh, no, actually, in another 2 days it's going to be 80 from like here on out. And you know what, as in England, dude, it turns on a dime.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden we'll go from this cold, crappy, raw weather to 80+ degree weather every single day from here out until we hit that bullshit hot, hazy, humid 90+ degree weather. So who knows? I mean, the weather could turn around Wednesday next week, Thursday. I don't know. I haven't looked at the weather forecast that far out, and all of a sudden it's hotter than hell, bluebird skies, no wind, and everything warms up super rapid. It happens every freaking year. It's just when that starts, it usually varies like 2 to 3 weeks.
do rainy 50-degree days boost water temps when the water is mid-40s, depending on how cold the rain is.
Right.
It could be 50 degrees out, but it could be a 30-degree rain.
Yeah, it depends what the upper atmosphere is. It's kind of difficult. I would say right now, having been caught out in the rain a couple of times
Kind of warm.
It's pretty warm. I would say this is going to be a boost, especially for places that are like kind of on the cusp, or a little bit further north where that water is colder. It's going to help. Like, this is ideal for lakes, for like smaller ponds, right? Largemouth. Water's already kind of low 50s, and this is just a couple of degree boost with a flood of just all this shit getting dragged into the lake and creating a feeding frenzy for these fish. I'm really, really hopeful it's going to turn the bite on for this weekend, but I'm kind of refusing to get my hope up at the same time because it's been a really dog shit year.
What if you haven't seen any baby bass and only donkeys? I don't see a problem with that.
Absolutely not. Yeah, Corey Gills is absolutely right. Fish are changing by the hour this time of year. It's insane. Like, we had that. I didn't adequately really talk about that in one of the recent videos. But we had that. And we had to change it up. Like, it's literally changing by the hour, the couple hours. Oh, it was with Kristen and I. And we were hitting them up shallow, and then we had to come back out and go deep and work rocks, and then it changed again. We had to go back up shallow, but focus on timber instead of vegetation. Like, it changed. The bite changed 3 times in a 6-hour period. That's just New England fishing early in the spring.
It's tough.
Mass bass hunters. Should I be looking for spawning bass at 58? No.
Pre-spawn.
Pre-spawn smallmouth. Like, that is the final window. Like, 60 degrees is like they should start stacking up on beds. So for smallies, yeah, you'll get some eager beaver giant females that are probably already spawning if the water temp is held consistent at least that for like daily
Couple days.
Daytime highs. Usually, my previous experience, it takes like 3 days of that, and all of a sudden they'll move up in like a wave. They'll go from cruising 5 feet of water, smashing absolutely everything, to go fuck yourself attitude, and they're making beds, or they're just getting ready for it. So you're on the cusp down there. Just keep that in mind. Largemouth's too early.
If you get another few days of like 70s, you better be out there.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the smallmouth starts spawning on down the Cape this week, because that's gotta be close.
Probably is.
Yeah. No, fishing mode, you're right. The only area we really have for punching is Champlain and a few other select lakes in Vermont that I will not speak of.
And the river.
And the river, yeah. I mean, but that's like the grass actually has to grow up and then get ripped out and get pushed down and stack up, and then you can actually get like proper punching. And then the river gets like that. I don't know what that is.
Schmutz.
Yeah, whatever that schmegma is, and it just builds up, and it's like a 6-inch like layer of just. You know what we're talking about. You fish the river, you know what it is. Pawtuckaway is a great spot. Kevin. That's hard to answer because I know Pawtuckaway is low. It's a really stained water fishery. With the water being low, it's not the Bay of Fundy. It's or is it Fundy Cove? I think it's called Fundy Cove. It's like that giant. Have you been to Pawtuckaway?
No.
So it's like a 15-minute idle from the boat launch until you get out.
I've seen
deeper than 3 feet.
I've looked at it a bunch of times.
And that whole area can be great with water temps, right? But with water being low, and I wouldn't think. But I would be working those transition areas, is my guess.
Cheese mats.
Yeah. All right, man. Fishing mode. Have a good night, buddy. Big Rose will be cruising up shallow one day. You think the spawn's about to happen, and then cold one day. Fish get very confused. Dude, we literally saw that Wednesday, not last week. 2 weeks ago from yesterday. Kristen and I. And we're fishing one of my favorite spots, which I think I'm going to take John to this Sunday. It was a little windy to start the day, and it slicked off, and I started working a weightless fluke. And I was catching crappie after crappie after crappie.
You're telling me about that, yeah.
They were big, but they were paper thin. They had no weight to them. And I made one cast, and when you spook a big fish, and he runs, and he just creates this big wake, but it's not his fin coming out, it's just him displacing the water, because he's even just from like a foot below. That. And we moved up a little bit further into that next staging pocket, and now the breeze barely picked up, and the boat's just kind of barely going on. I look down, and it's all vegetation everywhere, and there's one little clear spot. I look down, there's like a 5 to 6 pound bass just sitting there 5 feet from the boat. And I got lucky, and my fluke was already out, and I brought it right in front of her face, and I hard twitched it, and it came and like zoomed in right in front of her face and fell, and she actually was like,
Nope.
Nah. And then they went back out to deeper water. Like, they're all over the place. It's nuts. Could a temp swing kill a spawn? It doesn't happen. Yeah, dude, if they're on the very cusp, like if they're just in the beginning stage, fanning beds, absolutely.
Which I think I've already seen a bed.
We have. So where I just was with Chris this past weekend, smallmouth place, we were going along and we were marking fish in the right transition areas. The water was 54. And this is after a brutal cold front. So it had to have been close to 60. It's a small place, it warms up fast. And so at one point, we're just beating our heads in. We're 3 hours in. We got 2 rats each. And I was like, well, screw it. Let's go check out shallow just to eliminate it. And we saw like 5 or 6 beds that were perfectly clean. So we're positive, after seeing that there's a couple of eager beers that got up there early, started fanning off a couple days before we were there when it got really warm. Cold front pushing right back out.
Giants.
They were big beds.
Yeah.
They were big beds. So, yes, I think so at least. We're going out the other end after the bridge. Kevin, I've never actually been down to that end. Brendan, that glide is killer now. You should be fishing it now, not just during the spawn. But yes, during the spawn, I've been told, work it over beds, and even the smallmouth come up and slap the crap out of it. It's smallmouth. They kind of slap the crap out of anything. But
I want to try it. I just want to try catching a decent one on the glide doing that.
I think it would be fun. Like, we know a couple of lakes where like we could just go down. We could literally bomb a 100-foot cast of that glide and drag that thing over 20 to 30 smallmouth beds.
Yeah, I know exactly where you're talking to.
One of them's gonna bite. You work that whole ridge line right from the boat launch, and just someone's gonna smoke it. Oh my god, man, I really want to do it. Okay, we're bed fishing this year. But we're not bed fishing per se. We're glide bait bed fishing. It's different. We can't see the fish. We just know they're there.
They're always there.
All right, it's 9:45. Chat's kind of slowing down. Number of viewers is kind of slowing down. Let's get in some last minute questions. Maybe we'll wrap this up a little bit earlier than usual. Any other questions you guys want for tips, techniques, or, added caveat, suggestions for another stream? Next week, we're actually going to have a guest, and we're going to be talking a lot more about northern bass fishing as a whole, right? Not just New Hampshire, not just New England or the Northeast. This applies to all of northern bass. I mean, a lot of it is specific to the Northeast in general, but we're even going past that. We're going to be bringing up places even down to like the St. James River in Virginia. We're going to be talking about Lake Ontario and the St. Lawrence River. Like, it's going to be all inclusive. And we're going to really go over like the whole diversity of fisheries and everything. And all the differences it plays in. And that's like really important, something I wanted to cover because, what is it? 3 hours, 3.5 hours to Candlewood, 2.5 hours to the Cape, 3 hours to, well, 2.5 hours to our Vermont Brownie Factory, or 3 hours to Champlain, 2 hours to any of those backwoods lakes in Maine. We're in the middle of some of the greatest fisheries in the country.
We just got to travel a little bit.
Yep. And they're all wildly different.
Yep.
You go to the Cape, you got to worry about
sharks.
Yeah. Herring, right? You go to Champlain or Candlewood. Champlain has got everything, so that's kind of an anomaly. But alewife play a pretty big factor in there. But perch are big time. And then you go to Candlewood, and alewife are like the thing. So you have to kind of really focus in on that. All over New Hampshire, Maine, Vermont, Mass. It could be perch. It could be bluegill. It could be smelt. It could be just crawfish. It could be trout. Like, there's so many different varieties of fisheries in this state that, I mean, shit, even in a 45-minute ride from my house, I could fish all 4 drastically different types. I could fish a shallow, nothing mud puddle, Kettle Pond, for largemouth only. I could fish a super deep glacial lake that has trout, smelt, and smallmouth, and lake trout, and salmon. I could fish a river that's got every single variety of depth. And then I could fish a man-made reservoir, which has got both current and shallow water, and clear water, and stained water. It's got everything, all within a 45-minute drive.
Yep, we literally have everything.
So, like, how do you go about deciding what you want to do when you can fish so many different things? If you looked in my boat, you'd laugh. Almost I would say 90% of what I own, I carry with me all the time because we don't know what the hell we're getting into.
Where do you want to go? I don't know.
Right? Like, I carry all 14 rod combos I own with me. We go out anticipating trying to hit largemouth, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, that's not going on. Okay, well, let's go to the Clearwater side and hit large smallmouth.
Right.
So that'll be good for next week to get that doing.
How hard of a hook? Sorry, I'm skipping up. Wait, never mind.
Oh, how hard of a hook set on glide baits?
I'm sorry, I just saw that. As hard as you can.
Yeah, dude, send it.
Do it and crank it in as fast as you can.
Dude, throw it through transition areas, man. That's big. Anywhere, like even up shallow, as long as you can get it through clean, throw it. And just work it slow. One of the things I was told is you're not reeling it. You're doing like quarter to half turns, pause. Quarter to half turn, pause. And for me, what I do is like I go real slow and then kind of speed up into it to get my half turn. Because depending on the glide I'm working and how much it glides before I reel it up again and change direction, wind, all that, like I go as slow as I can until I can see that I picked up the tension in my line, and then from there I finish my, at that point I think it ends up being like a full half turn on my reel, but I'm only really making the bait move with a quarter of a turn. I'm still fishing it too fast because I'm not letting it finish the whole glide. So you want it to go and almost start to sink and then hit it again and bring it back. Wait till it pauses. Bring it back. Bring it back.
I swam mine back the other day.
When the water gets a little bit warmer, you can be more aggressive like that.
I was like, it was like, meow, 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 meow. And then I was like, smack. And I was like, pew, turn right around. I'm like, okay, oh, there's a fish. Then I hit it.
Every once in a while, I'll do like a half hard turn, right? And that'll make it 180. 5-second pause, roughly.
That's pretty much how I got the fish to hit too, because I let it sink down, and the fish nosed in, and I hit it hard, and it 180 and it came up and smacked it.
Dude, I swear to God, when I was at the Vermont Brownie Factory solo a couple weeks ago, and I had that 7-8 pound bass, whatever it was, following it, dude, an inch off the back of this, and I did that half twitch, and it went this way, and the bass is right behind it, following it, and I think I had like 5 or 6 twitches. And I 180'd it, but I wasn't paying attention when I 180'd it. I got to think about this. No, it was coming towards the boat, and so when I 180'd it, it looped around. The face went away from my boat and came this way, but the bass went the opposite way. So when she stopped to look at it, like she was gonna broadside it, now she's facing me in the boat and literally right below my feet at that point.
There's nothing you could have done about that though.
The only thing I think I could have done is if I waited and 180'd it the other way, but at the same time, like it's 180. Like
yeah, but you didn't know which way she was gonna go.
Right. I think you're right. I don't think there's anything I could have done. If I had changed it, I don't think it would have mattered. Regardless, she ended up looking right at the boat. But dude, she like, it was I'm talking about a slow, exaggerated glide, right? But when I 180'd it, she went super aggressive and like just turned on a dime in the blink of an eye, and faced me in the boat, and then just real slow swim right underneath my feet. I'm watching her the whole way. I'm like, what the fuck? It killed me to see that, but at the same time, it was really good to see because I know what I was doing is right. Like the glide did exactly what it was supposed to. It drew out the big fish and told me that they were there.
Most of the YouTubers are always talking about shad because most of the YouTubers get famous because it's super easy to catch bass when there's shad around. Yeah. Bam. I said it.
Tonks one. Yeah, perch made forage here. Yes. Hammer time was right on it. Yes. Absolutely yes. 100 times, 1,000.
Perch made, yeah.
For not the whole season.
No.
And it's for smallmouth, yeah, pretty much most of the season. Like maybe not the majority of the season, but like either crawfish, perch, or smelt.
Mm-hmm.
Like for us around here, like that's their main thing. If there's alewives, that's a whole nother ball game that you gotta throw into the equation. For largemouth, it can be anything, man. Perch, which I like to target perch in the spring when they spawn, and then bluegill during the spawn. I'll target them around those for largemouth, but then they also feed on black crappie, they feed on shiners, they feed on anything. Crawfish most of the time, like everything. They just eat, but like they hit every single bait fish at some point during the year. So it's kind of imperative to really understand the different cycle times for all the different forage fish, so you understand what the largemouth like to do.
Right.
Smallmouth are a little bit more narrow. And then, yeah, trout, too. Throwing that added. It gets difficult when you start throwing those things in.
They eat everything, so you got to figure it out.
Nick Rose. No craws in Nova Scotia. Interesting. Any tips is Islandmen better when they're on bait fish? Perch, alewife, smelt, and mainlands, I would say. When they're chasing... Early in the year, dude, so, New Hampshire Bradley Factory.
Okay.
They're chasing one or the other. It's either they're chasing perch or they're chasing smelt.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really hard to say when they're chasing either one. In the fall, it seems like the smelt, like really early in the spring, it's total crapshoot. It's one or the other, perch or smelt, and you just kind of got to go for one or the other. It's easier to tackle perch chasers because the perch are in spawn mode. So a little bit easier to they're a little bit more consistent in the depths and areas that they're in.
He might have better luck cranking.
That's true.
Cranking and jerk baits.
Especially jerk baits.
Because there's no craws. Jig, I mean, a jig with like a ball head jig with like a swim bait would probably work fine, but a jig head with a craw trailer they'd be like, what the fuck is that thing?
Right.
And then they might not eat it.
But at the same time,
they could eat it.
Because it's wildly different from what everybody else around you might be throwing.
Right. So try craws, and that might turn them on.
Yep.
Could be something different.
Swim baits on football heads too. Just because, some of those baits start to die, and where do they go when they die? They sink. If there's anything down low, they're going to come after it. So if you throw a light jig head with a swim bait, it's... Hey, Andrew.
What?
He said, Andrew Harris. Hey, guys.
Oh. I was like, what?
But alewife, I can't answer to because I don't know enough about them yet. Benjamin Weldon, get this man to 5K. Buddy, that would make me so happy. We were so close. I forgot to check during the stream. I already forgot what it was before the stream. 4,984
Oh my gosh.
So close.
The one I caught on the glide, it was only like...
He was a dink.
Yeah, it was like
cute.
maybe a pound and a half. It wasn't that big.
Jasper, can we do a stream on fishing in different weather conditions, like rain versus sun versus cloudy?
Sure.
Hell yes.
Why not?
If you're not fishing in the rain in the spring on either side of the spawn, you are seriously fucking up. Nova Scotia, gosh dang, y'all have a bass fish over there. Yeah. Oh, hook set process with that rat. He missed a couple of giants on the rat the other day.
Who? Oh, you did?
Yeah, he was talking about it.
As soon as they hit it, reel down to it, and then just hammer it. That's what I do. I literally you hear it, and your brain kind of does this like fuzzy static thing for a second. You're like, oh shit, and then you just hammer it. That's what I do.
John.
And just keep reeling. Don't hook set and like stop reeling. You hammer that thing, pressure, constant pressure, and just crank it in as fast as you can.
Yep. Yeah, Chris, I agree with you on bass size relative to southern bass size. Andrew, dude, you're very welcome, man. I really hope that I helped out. I don't know if anybody was able to donate yet, but I hope I was able to drive some people. I'll share it again. I'm going to keep sharing it because I want to make sure people can help you out.
What happened?
I didn't tell you about this. When I was on my way home from Ospey and Wentworth, fishing with Travis, Route 28, like back away from like Mary Meeting and Alton Bay area.
Yeah.
I passed a house that was just being done, put on fire.
Oh my god. No way.
Lost his boat, his garage, his wife's car, all his fishing shit.
That sucks.
Yep. But he's got a GoFundMe set up, and I was able to share it on Instagram.
Yeah.
So
I'll do it right now.
Awesome. Good. Thank you, Andrew. Oh, Andrew, one other thing. If you need tackle, Jamie at Sematus Baits said get in touch with them. If you want, don't be bashful about this. Seriously, please. If you need tackle, if you lost your tackle, let me know. Hit me up on Instagram again. I'll talk to Jamie. He said if he needs anything, let Jamie know, and he'll hook you up. He'll get you sorted back out, man. Let's get you back out there. I'm not joking. I still have a handful of 6-gill rods, all yours. I'm just sitting here. Welcome to have them, man. We'll meet up and I'll get them to you. He did lose all his gear. Yeah, all right. We'll get you covered.
She just gave all those rods away to him.
Yeah, seriously. I wish I had some extra reels. All I got is rods, but I'm sure somebody else will be able to come up. We'll get you covered.
Lefty or righty?
I'm curious about this too. There's a right and a wrong answer here.
Right way or wrong way?
It's like a goofy or switch. Left.
Okay.
You chose the wrong answer.
That's fine. We'll figure something out.
Yeah, Nick, good luck, dude. All right, any other... It's 10 o'clock. Anything else before we wrap this up? I'm tired. I've been burning the candle at both ends all week. The new job, which, again, has been going great, so I'm not going to complain there. But I was working remote for a little bit, so I was able to get an extra 2 hours of sleep a day, but I've been up till friggin' midnight every night trying to keep up with the channel. And it's starting to hit me. I've been doing 3 monsters a day this week, trying to keep up.
Oh, guess what I'm trying to... Hold on.
Who are all those?
Oh, don't worry about them. Oh, where'd it go?
Yeah, Brendan, absolutely, dude. Donk, any applications for... Huh?
Possibly.
Oh.
Message them. Like, we'll chat.
Nice. Donk, any applications for a medium light casting rod? Bought one by accident a couple of years ago.
Medium light casting rod.
If it's... No.
You could troll for trout with it.
Yeah. You're limited by what you can throw for, like...
Senkos.
Yeah.
Ned rig.
4-inch Senkos, Ned rig. Yeah, but even still on a casting rod, like...
That's going to be hard.
It's going to be really hard.
How long is it?
That's the better question.
If it was really long rod, you could have a really good setup.
Yeah, like a 7+ foot rod.
Like an 8.5. Woo! That would be so sick for Ned rig.
Yeah, it's still going to be a pain in the ass to cast something super light on that with a casting reel, though.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think of. We have to get a, like, digital control reel for that.
Any
so you
tips?
Just bomb it and not worry about backlashing.
Any tips for bass on Winnipesaukee? I'll tell you like I tell everyone else. Just somewhere else.
Oh, it's a 7.3 medium light?
7.3 carrot stick.
Whoa! That's a noodle. I have a spinning rod like that, and it's amazing for light duty stuff. Like everyone else said, Ned rig. You can drop shot on it too. That actually might not be a bad way to do it, because you can still get away with throwing like even a 3/8 ounce weight on a rod that light. And that's certainly castable even with a casting reel. So you could drop shot on that.
Could be Demiki rig.
Could also definitely be Demiki rig. Although Demiki's like very vertical. I hate dropping vertical with a casting reel.
Yeah, I know.
If it doesn't have a pistol grip, you can just say screw it and fish it like a spinning rod. No, you would hate yourself if you did that.
Sure.
Not having those first leading giant guides would really hurt. That's true. Thanks, Nick.
Later,
Appreciate
dude.
it, buddy.
You still sewing up there? Just kidding.
Yeah, dude, I would try a Ned drop shot. You could do light ball head jigs, like 1/4 ounce up to maybe a 3 ounce.
It'd just be a finesse casting rod.
Yeah.
Hair jigs.
Yeah, dude. If you were to go like straight 10-pound fluoro on that, you could do braid to a leader, and like that would actually be a killer finesse jig setup. Ned's might have trouble with like 1/10 ounce. You might have to do like 1/8 ounce stuff on that.
Shaky head, definitely.
Yeah. Beast Coast Hustlers, 1/4 ounce ones.
Mm-hmm.
That would be mint. Because you don't need much set on that. Slightly heavier Okashira, the spin head jig heads, with like 3 to 3.5 inch swim bait on the back. You could probably make that work. Spy bait, you could absolutely throw a spy bait on that because those are 1/2 ounce. So even how light they are. Every time I say spy bait, all I can think of is the and my soul cries for you. And I'm sorry, my friend. I forgot to tell you, I caught 2 rainbow trout on my spy bait last weekend.
I didn't.
Dude, it was such an amazing deal.
I caught a medical bill.
All right, Ben, have a good night, buddy. Good luck. Get giant.
Oh, yeah.
Gordy, have a good night, buddy.
Good luck, bud.
Weightless flukes in the open. Yeah, actually, if you do a light gauge hook, that'd be fine too.
Where does Lake Ontario? That's where it comes into play.
Any clear water applications, they're good. I haven't done anything with it yet.
I'm going to try using it more this year. The spy bait, I'm definitely going to try using it more this year.
Yeah, I started using it a little bit more last year.
I want to use it where I caught those 2 years before.
It's really good for like shallow water smallmouth. Like if you get into a situation where all of a sudden it's a lot calmer than it was supposed to be, weather forecast is way off, which I ran into a couple of times last year, and they're just out cruising, dude, you can bomb a spy bait especially if you set it up on like a
Oh my god, dude!
light
I
duty
sent that thing
spinning rod.
so far.
It's like a 150-foot cast. Like, and so you tie on like a 20 to 30-foot fluoro leader on that if you're a braid guy like me on your spinning setup. So the leader knot is way ahead of the bait, and it won't spook the fish. And you go light line, like 8 to 10 pound. No, actually, no. A lot of guys that throw 6 pound. It's like an ultra finesse, moving but ridiculously slow moving, low profile bait. But it also works really good for suspended bass too, like middle of the summer. You can count it down to the depth they're at and just slow roll it back and keep it in that depth, and they'll come out and smoke it. Kevin, red the color right now.
Yeah. Yep.
For chatterbait. Spinnerbait, I haven't had luck yet.
It also probably depends on the day too.
Yeah. Stained water. Like if you're in an area that's got moderate clarity normally, but with the wind has stirred it up and made it stained, like that's where I'm finding my best success with that red chatterbait right now. It's insane. For some reason, I cannot buy a freaking bite on the lipless this year. Lipless and jerkbait, I've had the hardest time this year than any other year.
Hammer time, me too. Sorry.
Yeah. Have a good night, Hammer. But yeah, like keep throwing both. Like if I go out, when I go out this weekend, I'll have a chatterbait and spinnerbait time. They hit one or the other, and I'm gonna have red for each to start because I think the water's still gonna be stained by the time I get out there on Sunday, and I'll work backwards from there. See how it goes. I think, you know what? I think that's good. I think we'll wrap it up there. It's been a good night, guys. We kept this. It was about almost exactly 2 hours. Bring up all these questions. I'll answer anything that comes in the last minute. Otherwise, we'll start to wrap this up. I love flipping docks. It's one of the most fun things to do.
It's the best thing to do. I figured out how to skip jigs last year, so
I'm getting better at it. I tried to do it the other day. No! Hammer, this whole time was that time.
look at me.
Kevin, you got a red rage caw. Yeah, dude, you'll like down the back of the chatter. Turn it sideways, though. So you got the hook. Yeah, hook point comes up like this. One leg above it, one leg underneath it, and it looks really, really good. All right, TV18, have a good night, buddy. Greatly appreciate it. Andrew, you're very welcome, man. We'll get you schooled.
We'll figure something out for you.
So, on that, for everybody that stuck around, thank you very much. Greatly appreciate it. We'll see you next week. We'll have a special guest on. We're gonna cover a lot more stuff. I'm tired, so we'll wrap this up.
Yep.
Thank you all, guys.
Good night,
Greatly
guys.
appreciate it.
You guys have a good week. Next week should be a good one. So tune in next week. Same time, same place.